already talked to the board about?
I don't know about that. I just know from talking to her when I went through my packet last night, that's what
Okay.
she said. She
Okay.
recommended.
Okay. They ready? Well, I guess they are ready. Hmm?
Trying to point to Judy, let her know that that's okay with you.
Okay. Good evening. Thank all of you for being here tonight. This is our second meeting of February, and um, we are excited. So many of you came out to hear what's going on in our community. I want to go ahead and read our thought for today. Great achievement is usually born of great sacrifice and is never the result of selflessness. That's by Napoleon Hill. I want to go ahead and officially call this meeting to order tonight. We're going to have invocation tonight by myself, and following that, we'll have our pledge by Commissioner Henderson. Let's pray together. Father, we thank you tonight. We thank you today, Lord, for allowing us another opportunity, Lord, to be on the face of this earth. And Lord, we say thank you. We thank you for allowing us to live in a community that we can call home. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be leaders here today, and to actually, if you would, Lord, to lead and guide us as we make decisions that affect our community. And Father, we pray and we ask if you would, Lord, to touch all families that have been affected and by COVID-19. We pray a special blessing for them, Lord. And Lord, we pray for our first responders in this community, Lord. We pray that you keep protecting them, God. And then, Lord, we ask if you would to touch Chester, one of our employees. He lost his mom, Lord. And I ask that you go by and see about him, oh Lord. Father, I pray that you let this meeting be what you would have it to be tonight. In your son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Again, thank you guys for being here tonight. We do have Commissioner Cowan here tonight. He is calling in tonight, so he will be a part of the meeting also. Commissioners, I haven't seen any changes to the agenda tonight, so I seek a motion that we approve, please.
So moved.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason and second by Commissioner Edwards. Any discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Cowan?
Aye.
It passes 5-0. Thank you. Next on the agenda is citizen comments. This is an opportunity that we allow citizens to come up and talk about agenda topics only. You have 3 minutes to do so. Please state your name, your address for the record, please. Agenda topics only.
Hello, I'm Michael Joffroy. My address is 2121 Floyd Street, 2 blocks that way. And I'm here to talk about agenda item 11, about the discussion, consideration of future West Side Youth Facility. And I just wanted to say I am the volunteer chair of the Boys and Girls Club for Newton County, and I have been for about 3 years now. And we have really done a lot and have a lot of great plans for the youth of Newton County, and I think are going to accomplish some great things together. We have our temporary facility up now on the west side, out on Brown Bridge Road, and even though it's small, from humble beginnings, we are serving a lot of families. We have helped over hundreds of kids, 129 kids so far, even through the pandemic. We have raised over $400,000 of private money, not from the city or the county or anyone else, the state. We received donations from over 1,000 different people and companies. So this is all money from things like the Woodruff Foundation that gave us over $100,000. These are grants that we're getting for Newton County families and Newton County kids that we're able to get through the Boys and Girls Club. And we have seen money that was leaving our county. You know, Ross makes the Boys and Girls Club their signature event. But up until now, that store up the street was giving all their money to Conyers and to the kids of Rockdale County, and it was leaving our county, even though people thought they were supporting their local Boys and Girls Club. Same thing, General Mills has a set aside $34,000 a year, as a matter of fact, that they give to the Boys and Girls Club. And prior to us opening our club a little over a year ago, all that money went to Walton County. So this money was leaving our community. And so establishing the Boys and Girls Club makes sense, not just to organize, but it has such a trusted name, and we're able to bring in so many grants and so much dollar. So I'm asking you, when you consider what to do with the families on the west side and with the youth and the problems that I've heard the commissioners talk about and that we all know we need more investment on that side, invest with the Boys and Girls Club. And let us take the SPLOST dollars that we have and give you a return. Let us take $500,000 and turn it into $5 million by doing private fundraising to go along with it, by doing the grant writing, by doing the things for the Woodruff Foundation and other foundations that we can to give a return to all of you. You know, 3 years ago, Judge Johnson asked me, he really just kind of told me to be chair. And I knew there was a need, and he knew there was a need, and that's why we jumped in and did it.
I gotta cut you
appreciate
off,
all
sir.
your time tonight,
Yeah.
and I hope you all will work with us at the Boys and Girls Club. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? This young lady here first.
Sorry, Wendy.
Let me ask you, are all of y'all here to speak for the Boys and Girls Club? Okay.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Wendy Rodriguez. I live in 30 Crestfield Circle, Covington, Georgia. I would like to speak on the agenda item number 11. On September 29, 2010, after 10 months of intense debate and compromise, the Fairview Community Park was built, in Fairview Estates. I was part of these 18 months, and almost everything that I predicted has happened. Even before its conception, Fairview Estates, as a community, was not made aware of the plans until it was approved by the Board of Commissioners. Unfortunately, this same thing is about to happen more than a decade later. The input of our neighborhood has not been heard. As the HOA president for this neighborhood and resident of this community since 2003, I reached out to our new District 3 commissioner a few weeks ago to set up a meeting, and subsequently just met with her yesterday. Thank you again. We were just made aware by Commissioner Sanders that the item 11 on tonight's agenda was a budget for this approved community center. As instructed by Commissioner Sanders, I looked at the agenda in the minutes from January 19th and February 2nd, and I was unable to see the community center was approved for construction. I'd appreciate the clarification, and I will definitely forward over my questions later on to finish off. This will inevitably impact the living spaces of our otherwise quiet neighborhood. Where and when was this focus group executed, from what I understand, for this community center to be built? If this community center is added at our and our park expanded, yes, we will have a place for our youth. But many will get to leave this space after their ball games, parties, workouts. But Fairview Estates will be left with noise, traffic, trash, and crime. We did not sign up for this, and we haven't signed up for this. We should not be left out of the conversation when it comes to the consideration of this community park. The community park is already ridden with issues that I've brought up multiple times throughout the last decade to the Board of Commissioners. There's drug sales, drug use, outside traffic, sexual activity. Yes, I have seen used condoms on my walks in that trail, and other illicit activity. I have seen it all, and so has the sheriff, and so have our officers. However, anytime we have called the police, we have been told they did not even know that this county park existed. We have done our part, and we have called, and we have not been heard or included. Where is the follow-up? But I digress. In conclusion, we should put efforts and tax money on maintaining and expanding our already established county park before introducing another entity into our neighborhood. Please listen, please include me. I am now the president of our HOA. We would like, as a neighborhood, to know, and if there's any way to table this conversation for another meeting so that our neighbors are made aware. No one knows. I just found out. And yes, I've followed social media. I've followed the Board of Commissioners. I'm constantly trying to be a part of this community since I was 13 and even earlier in my life. So please listen to us. Allow us to be a part of this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, guys, we're going to have to go into zoning at 7:30. So this will have to be our last citizen comments until we come out of zoning. So you guys can come on up.
Can you hear me okay? I'm Victoria Redding, my husband Raymond Redding. Can you hear me now?
We can. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my name is Victoria Redding and Raymond Redding, 3091 Fairview Road. We've lived in the community since 2015, and as the young lady just stated, we weren't even aware that we had a park in our neighborhood. I don't even understand how that's possible, that a park was built and no one was informed that it was there for the community, being a community park. I happen to be the HOA president of Coopers Lake on Fairview and Womack, and we do not have any type of recreation in our community at all. I also live on the main street where I see numbers of children almost get hit on a daily basis trying to get through the streets, back and forth, back and forth. We need some type of community recreation in our community, and it needs to be at a level. When I finally went to the park, I was kind of appalled at how it seemed to be just thrown there and not fully thought through to have walking paths where my husband and I could actually walk down the path together. We have to walk one in front of the other. There are no function play areas or anything for our children. Really, there's a little makeshift something. I have a 10-year-old that I would like to take to the park, but I go to Rockdale because they offer us what we need in our community. So I'm asking that we take in consideration what the community actually needs, and as the young lady over Fairview Estate says, consider them in your conversation as well as all of the surrounding communities that live there.
I would just like to add that, having us a community center in the neighborhood builds a stronger community. As an ex-Marine, teamwork has always been part of what we do. And as neighbors on Fairview Estate, I think having a community center there will allow us to be able to manage our community and grow our community as a team.
Thank you. Guys, it's 7:31 actually. We'll come back to citizens' comments after we come out of zoning. I'm going to ask Judy if you would come up. Ms. Judy, I'm told that there's a great number of people here tonight that want to speak about the zoning of the truck stop. I want to ask you guys, those that want to speak in favor and those that want to oppose it, because there are so many people here that want to speak. I want to ask you if you would elect someone to be your spokesman, maybe two people, because we do have a 10-minute time limit for those who want to speak in favor and those that want to oppose. So if you would, please help me with that.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners.
Good
Our
evening.
first item before us this evening is an extension of a moratorium. This was originally passed by the Board of Commissioners on your January 19th, 2021 meeting as an emergency moratorium that would have lasted for 30 days. Since that time, staff has gone back and we have ran an ad in the newspaper announcing tonight would be a public hearing, and we have before you this evening a request to extend the moratorium, and it would be a resolution of the Newton County Board of Commissioners extending until July 20th, 2021, an existing moratorium on the acceptance of applications of zoning petitions and preliminary plat or concept plan petitions for new residential development.
Thank you, ma'am. We want to go ahead and open it up now. Excuse me. We want to go ahead and open it up now for our public hearing. Those that want to speak in favor, you have 10 minutes to do so. You can come now and please state your name and your address for the record, please. Those that want to speak in favor. Thank you. We also allow 10 minutes for those that want to oppose. You also have 10 minutes to speak now. Please come and state your name and your address for the record, please. Anyone want to oppose tonight? Thank you. That portion of our zoning is closed. Commissioners, I seek a motion, please, on resolution R0216218. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we're talking about we're holding up the building of homes for another 30 days. Am I on the right page? What are we holding up? Somebody can I?
No, sir. Judy, would you like to explain?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir. If someone has a piece of property and they want to build a single-family home, they are allowed to do that. We're not stopping the acceptance of building permits. What we are asking to put the moratorium on is the acceptance of these new large preliminary plats for larger subdivisions and for concept plans for either single-family, multifamily, townhomes. That is what we are stopping the land development side, the preliminary plat side, not the actual issuance of a single-family building permit if you had a lawful lot in which you could build on.
So after 30 days, you think that we would have some sort of resolution?
Well, yes, sir. Actually, what we're doing now is that we have staff has been contacted by the county manager to be a part of your retreat that you will be having next month. And at that time, we would be going over some of the ordinance amendments that we would like to propose that we think can help better guide our development right now and kind of help guide our densities that we have. So it would actually be through potentially July the 20th, 2021. Once we are able to meet with the board and you give us guidance, we will go back and write the ordinance revisions. We will bring them to the Planning Commission and then back to you for acceptance. We do believe that this timeline will give us ample time, and if we adopt an amendment before July the 20th, then the moratorium can cease at that time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sanders.
The moratorium is for 6 months, correct? 6 months.
It's a total of
About five, I think it's about 5 months from the 20th of this month. Yes, ma'am, approximately 6 months. If we found that something came up and that we needed, and I may need to explain why we're getting a little chatter here, If we find that something comes up and we needed more time, we could come back, do the advertisement again, and extend that time. But staff does believe that 5 months would give us ample time to get something before you, under your advice, before the Planning Commission, and then back to you for adoption.
And this does not affect those developers who've already been approved and currently building?
Correct. It
Okay.
does not affect any existing subdivision that may have vacant lots.
Okay.
It does not affect a subdivision that may have a second phase where one phase has already been built. It's not stopping the acceptance of building permits. We're just not going to take on brand-new projects that have never been brought before us before.
Anyone else? All in,
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Cowan?
And I'm sure Judy has already explained this. I just have a hard time hearing. But the reason for extension of this moratorium to July is for what reason?
To update the zoning ordinance, or to at least bring our concerns before this board and get your guidance if you want us to update the zoning ordinance.
Could you hear?
No, you'll have to,
So,
repeat it.
so that we can look at our zoning, the ordinance, and make sure, and see if we want to update them. So we have an opportunity to look at our overlays and see if we want to update those as well.
Okay. Are there any, and this is for Megan, are there any inconsistencies in our code of ordinances with our development codes? Has she looked at that?
No, I haven't looked at that. I don't think that's what Judy's speaking about tonight, no.
No, it's not about.
Okay. Is there a possibility there are some? Because I was thinking for some reason that after we had done the codification of the code, that there may have been some inconsistencies with the development regulations.
That is what we're working on. We're working on that currently. It's not on tonight, the ordinance amendments. Those, Judy's gonna bring that to y'all in your retreat next month.
Okay, so there could be some.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they're just getting them
Okay.
together. This gives them the time to get their plans in place and get the board support.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor? What about you, Mr. Cowan?
Yes.
Thank you. It passed 5-0. Thank you so much. Ms. Judy?
The next item before you this evening will also be a resolution, but it's what we call a map correction. This is MC 20-000003. The property is located at 180 Ellis Trail, and it's approximately 11 acres. It is currently, by the zoning map, shows that it is dually zoned, both AR and MSR. And the owner is Richard Malloy, and our desire tonight is to simply correct this zoning map. In 2003, there was a rezoning case that was brought before the Board of Commissioners. It was case number 03-053. And it was approved on that date, on October 21st, to be zoned agricultural residential. And as we have progressed more into our GIS mapping, occasionally we will get a new survey plat, and when that new survey plat is plotted onto our zoning map, sometimes you see where it looks like there's areas that are dually zoned. In this case, this entire parcel should be zoned AR, agricultural residential, but as we adopt subsequent zoning maps, that zoning now appears like this on our map, and until we can bring it before this board to ask for it to be corrected, it is actually dually zoned. So tonight, we are asking you to adopt a resolution, which is R021621B, to correct the zoning map back from this dual zone to the AR in which the board had legislated on October 21st, 2003.
Thank you so much. At this time, we're going to open it up for public hearing. The applicant and those that want to speak in favor, you have 10 minutes to do so tonight. If you would, please come down and state your name, your address for the record, please. The applicant and those that want to speak in favor. Please state.
Chairman, I apologize. There may not be necessarily an applicant. Okay, but we may have a property owner. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you. If you would, please state your name, your address for the record, please.
Richard Malloy, 180 Ellis Trail.
Thank you, sir.
I'm the applicant, and it's a simple map correction. That's what I was suggesting. I'd be here to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else want to speak in favor? Thank you. That portion of our public hearing is closed. We also allow 10 minutes for those that want to oppose tonight. You may also come at this time. Please state your name, your address for the record, please. You have 10 minutes as well. Anyone wants to oppose tonight? Anyone wants to oppose? Thank you. Commissioners, I seek a motion, please. Commissioner Mason.
Mr. Chair, I seek a motion that we approve R021621B to change the Newton County official zoning map correction.
Thank you, sir. Can I get a second? It's been motion by Commissioner Mason and second by Commissioner Edwards. Any discussion? All in favor?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr.
You
Cowell.
there?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure what we're doing is going from a higher density down to a lower density. Is that correct?
Yes.
On the zoning map?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All in favor?
District 5, aye.
Thank you, sir. It passes 5-0. Ms. Judy.
The next item before you this evening is a rezoning petition. This is REZ 20-000009. The existing zoning is A, agricultural, and they're asking to go to AR, agricultural residential. The flume on this, which is our future land use, was amended back in December, I believe. It came before the board, and it was amended to rural residential to allow for this type of zoning. This is located in District 1. The property is located at 2107 Henderson Mill Road, and the owner and petitioner is Mr. Max Greenwood. Again, the intent is to rezone the property from A to AR in order to be able to subdivide the property into two tracts, a 2-acre tract and a 6.6 acre tract. The subject site is 8.6 acres parcel located on the east side of Henderson Mill Road. The parcel currently has an agricultural zoning with 2 existing homes on it. The minimum lot size for agricultural zoning is 10 acres. This property would be considered legal nonconforming in the fact that it has 2 homes on a single-family lot, and the acreage does not meet the minimum for the zoning district. The property is also located in an area of varying size lots, both legal and legal nonconforming. Here is an aerial of the property, and you're able to see that there are in fact 2 homes on the property. There's one on the north side, and my little thing doesn't work. There's one on the north side of the parcel, and there's one kind of in the center of the parcel there. As you can see, the zoning is A, agricultural, but if you'll look around, there are several lots. If this is an 8.86 acre lot, you can look around and see there's many other lots that do not have the minimum acreage for the zoning. Here is your future land use map, which does tie into supporting this rezoning petition. Your watershed is Bear Creek Watershed, which does require that any lot be at least a 2-acre minimum. The survey plat of the property, site plan analysis. Based on the site plan submitted on November 22nd, 2020 by the applicant to the Development Services Department, staff offers the following considerations. Land use and density. The applicant is proposing that the lot be rezoned from A to AR in order to divide the parcel into 2 separate parcels. There are currently 2 existing homes on the property, and the subdivision of land will distribute 1 home per lot. Conclusion. Given the fact that the property is zoned A and is in close proximity of similar existing zonings of AR, along with the applicant's proposed use of land, staff is of the opinion that the rezoning may be appropriate for the site. The Planning Commission did consider this petition at their January 26th meeting, and they did vote to recommend approval with staff conditions by a vote of 5-0. The recommended conditions for this project: should this petition be approved by the Board of Commissioners, it should be approved AR, agricultural residential, conditional, subject to the owner's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. Where these conditions conflict with the stipulations and offerings contained in the letter of intent, these conditions shall supersede unless specifically stipulated by the Board of Commissioners. 1, to the owner's agreement to abide by the following. A, any required permits must be obtained from the Department of Development Services before any construction or development on the property. B, before the subdivision of the property, a minor plat must be submitted to Development Services, and the parcel may not be subdivided into any parcel less than 2 acres.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
The applicant and those that want to speak in favor tonight, you may come at this time. We want to open it up for our public hearing. Please state your name, your address for the record, please. You have 10 minutes to do so.
My name is Max Greenwood, the owner of the property. I really have no more to add than what Judy said, if you have questions.
Thank you, sir. I think no questions. Anyone else want to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else want to speak in favor tonight? That portion of our public hearing is closed. We will also want to allow 10 minutes for those that want to oppose tonight. You may come at this time also, and please state your name, your address for the record, please. You have 10 minutes to do so. Anyone wants to oppose tonight? Anyone wants to oppose? That portion of our public hearing is closed. I think that's District 1. Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Should I wait till a second before I ask the question of Judy, or I ask now?
If you would, let's get a motion on the floor.
All right, at this time, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve rezoning case number REZ 20-000009
With conditions?
with its conditions as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Board.
Okay. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? Commissioner Edwards.
Judy, just
1 second, Commissioner Gow.
Just to be sure, if the lots were to be subdivided further, they would come back before this board for that approval, correct?
Yes, sir. It's only allowed to have 2 parcels, and neither of the 2 parcels could be less than 2 acres each. So if he divided 1 2 acres, he has 6.6 acres for the other lot.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Cowan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Normally, I would agree, I think, with this rezoning here. However, you've got another piece of property on Henderson Mill Road at the same time, which is a much bigger tract, which I see that being opening up for subdivision and development. And from what I'm hearing on the people on Henderson Mill Road, they don't want any more development down that way down there. They want Henderson Mill to kind of be the end point of all the growth area. So I'll just have to say I'm against everything on Henderson Mill Road tonight until at some point in the future we'll look at it again. But for tonight, I'm not for any zoning on Henderson Mill Road.
Thank you, sir. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This particular piece of property already has 2 homes on it, and the property would be divided so there's a home on each piece of property. So I think it would be really, really tough to subdivide this property any further. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Sanders.
I had some of the residents for this area actually reached out to me and saw that it would be a definitely inconvenience for the homes that are already there. So I'm definitely against this because of the residents that are currently on that property.
Any more discussion? Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
District 5 opposed.
That motion failed, 4-1. Thank you. Mr. Judy.
The next item before you this evening is a rezoning request, REZ 21-000001. This property has an existing zoning of agricultural. The proposed zoning would be MCMUB, which is our Stanton Springs Business Park. It is located in a development node in which allows for an owner to seek this type zoning. It is located in District 1, and while it does show a location of County Line Road, this actually comes off of Stanton Springs Parkway, or Shire Parkway, I apologize. It comes off of Shire Parkway. It is 42.23 acres, and the petitioner is the JDA, the Joint Development Authority. The request is to extend the boundary of Stanton Springs to include this parcel. The subject site is a total of 42.23 acres, undeveloped, and located on the south side of Shire Parkway, which also borders the southern side of Walton County. The property is presently zoned A, agriculture. The future land use is designated DN, development node. It is located between Stanton Springs Business Park zonings on each side in both Newton and Walton County. Here is an aerial photograph, and the subject property is highlighted in blue. The actual Newton County and Walton County boundary lines are shown actually to the east of this property would be the approximate location of where our zoning split, or our boundary split. This is the existing zoning map, again showing this zoned A, and we're asking to carry it to MCMUB, which is our Stanton Springs Business Park zoning district. It is located in the Little River watershed. Site plan analysis. Based on the site plan submitted on January 6, 2021 by the applicant to the Department of Development Services, staff offers the following considerations. The concept plan shows that the proposed 42.23 acre tract that is bordered on the eastern property line by an existing pad. By incorporating the tract into the zoning district, it would allow the adjoining land to square off or position itself in a manner that would make future development more cohesive on setbacks and transitional buffers. Conclusion. Provided staff's recommended conditions are incorporated into the development of the site, the proposed use is consistent with the policies and intent of the comprehensive plan and with approved zonings in the area. The Planning Commission did also consider this at their January 26 meeting and voted to recommend approval with staff's conditions by a vote of 5-0. Recommended conditions. Should this petition be approved by the Board of Commissioners, it should be approved MSMUB Stanton Springs Business Park, conditional subject to the owner's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. Where these conditions conflict with the stipulations and offerings contained in the letter of intent, these conditions shall supersede unless specifically stipulated by the Board of Commissioners. Number one, to the owner's agreement to abide by the following standards. A, prior to any development of land, the owner will apply for applicable permits, including but not limited to land development and building permits.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to open it up for our public hearing. The applicant and those that want to speak in favor tonight, if you would, please come and state your name, your address for the record, please. You have 10 minutes to do so.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Gray, and I have the privilege of representing the Joint Development Authority of Jasper, Morgan, Newton, and Walton counties tonight. Here with me tonight, I'm joined by the chairman, Alan Werner, the vice chairman, Marcelo Baines, and our Newton County Economic Development Representative, Sarah Hall. I'm pleased to be here before you tonight, and again, we're requesting the rezoning of 42.11 acres from agricultural to Stanton Springs Business Park. Let's see. You have the, I don't have the clicker. You took it. It's okay. Back one. All right, thank you so much. I know you're all familiar, but Stanton Springs is about a 1,600-acre industrial development park. You can see here on your screen that it's bounded to the north by I-20 and to the west by Highway 278. It is home to the Facebook Data Center to the south of Shire Parkway and Takeda Pharmaceutical to the north of the parkway. And the property we're talking about tonight is the one highlighted in yellow. You can see that it squares off the corner towards the eastern part of the property. In 2020, the authority expanded the parkway about 2,800 feet. And with that, they built a pad site. So you can see just to the right of the yellow parcel is a graded pad site. And so this added 42 acres would be a great addition to Stanton Springs to round out that part of the park, allow additional access to the parkway, and to allow for a larger footprint for companies to move into Stanton Springs. Here is the survey that we just got back on the property, and much to all of our surprise, a very small portion of it is actually in Walton County. Even the property owner had no idea. So we have coordinated with Walton County. They created a parcel of about 2.5 acres in their county, and they've already designated it zoning as Stanton Springs Business Park. In 2019, all 3 counties that have land in the park passed a uniform zoning ordinance so that we have uniform zoning throughout the 1,600 acres. So actually part of this property already is Stanton Springs Business Park, and we're asking you to rezone the balance of it to that designation as well. The benefits to this rezoning, again, it's just a natural extension of our park boundaries. It helps round out the corner, provides additional access to the parkway extension and to the pad site that we've already built. And it creates opportunities for companies with larger footprints to locate in the park and to bring additional jobs and investment to our region. And again, just repeating our request that the property that's in Newton County, which is approximately 39.64 acres, be rezoned from agricultural to Stanton Springs Business Park. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else want to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else want to speak in favor tonight? That portion of our zoning is closed. We also want to allow 10 minutes for those that want to oppose tonight. You may come at this time and state your name for the record state your name, your address for the record, please. You may come at this time. Anyone wants to oppose? Anyone wants to oppose? That portion of our zoning is closed. Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I will excitedly make a motion to approve rezoning case number REZ 21000001.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? All in favor? Commissioner? Thank you. It passes 5-0. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for being here. Ms. Judy? Thanks.
Our next item before us this evening is also a rezoning request. This is REZ 20-000010. The existing zoning is A, agricultural. The proposed zoning is AR, agricultural residential. It does have a future land use map of rural residential, which does support the rezoning request. It is located in District 5 on Henderson Mill Road, and it is approximately 30 acres. The owner by tax records show Mr. Claude Brooks. However, I believe that the petitioner has purchased the property. The rezoning request is to take the 30-acre parcel from A to AR for the purpose of establishing family lots. The subject site is a 30-acre parcel located on the northeast side of Henderson Mill Road, and it currently has an A agricultural zoning and is undeveloped vacant land. Here is an aerial photo of the property on Henderson Mill. This is the existing zoning map showing that it is A. To the north of this parcel is both R2 zoning and AR zoning, agricultural residential. And to the south of this property is also agricultural AR zoning, agricultural residential. This is our future land use map showing that it is in an area of rural residential where we do anticipate this to be a area where growth can occur. The watershed is the Alcovey River watershed. This is a survey plat of the property, and then this is the concept plan of the 5 family lots of which is being requested for the rezoning. The site plan analysis, and I'm going to have to read from this because I left my glasses over there, guys. I'm so sorry. Site plan analysis. Based on the site plan submitted on December 4th, 2020, by the applicant to the Department of Development Services, staff offers the following considerations. Land use and density. The applicant is proposing that the lot be rezoned from A to AR to allow for a subdivision of property into 5 parcels, of which one will be a 20-acre parcel, and there will be 4 2-acre parcels. The applicant is proposing to rezone to be able to establish family lots. In the A agricultural zoning district, it is required to have a minimum of 10-acre parcels, and although there is 30 acres, there are limits. This would limit the way that the tract may be subdivided. It could have 3 tracts right now by right. They are requesting for the AR to establish 2 additional lots, again, for family lots. In order to subdivide the property, the applicant is requesting to change the zoning. Conclusion. Given the fact that the property is zoned A and is in close proximity of similar existing zonings as AR agricultural residential, along with the applicant's proposed use of land, staff is of the opinion that the rezoning may be appropriate. The Planning Commission also considered this case at their January 26, 2021 meeting, and they voted to recommend approval with staff's condition by a vote of 5-1. Recommended conditions. If this petition is approved by the Board of Commissioners, it should be approved AR, agricultural residential. Conditional, subject to the owner's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. Where these conditions conflict with the stipulations and offerings contained in the letter of intent, these conditions shall supersede unless specifically stipulated by the Board of Commissioners. 1, to the owner's agreement to abide by the following. A minor plat of the newly created parcels must be recorded and provided to Development Services. B, the 5 newly created parcels may not be subdivided into any parcel less than 2 acres. C, any required permits must be obtained from the Department of Development Services before any construction or development of the property.
Thank you. The applicant and those that speak in favor tonight, if you're here, you have 10 minutes to speak tonight. You can come now, state your name, your address for the record, please. We opening up our public hearing.
Thank you. My name is Marcus Pollard. I currently live at 305 Deep Step Road in Covington, Georgia. This is my mother, Stephanie Parrott. She's actually the owner of the property. Our entire lives, we've always had this, grand idea of living together on one piece of property between my mother and my three other siblings. And so the planets have aligned, so to speak. And so what we would like to do is we'd like to request that the 30 acres that my mother has purchased be rezoned so that we could potentially build 5 lots on that piece of property. In reality, as Ms. Judy said, right now we have the right to build 3, and right now we only can build 3. We have a sister who's currently stationed in Japan in the military, and another brother who is in North Georgia and doesn't really have the plans of moving anytime soon. We just didn't want to offend the board, thinking that we had some type of master plan that could be implemented at a later date. I'm currently an agricultural education teacher that's approaching 10 years in the community. My wife is also an agricultural education teacher. My brother is an agricultural education teacher, and his wife is a nurse, and my mother is a retired teacher. And so we're a family of public servants, and we're thinking that our dreams may come true with this potential rezoning application. And we'd like to reserve any other time that we have to answer questions. Or
And it's not going to go any lower in lot until I'm dead. And hopefully that's a long time away.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Anyone else want to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else want to speak in favor tonight? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, my name's Asher Dozier. Me and my family reside at 1179 Hendersonville Road. We're actually in favor of this project. As the director mentioned, this project is right on the edge of a future residential development. It's in the future land use is AR. There's AR and R right beside it. This 30 acres could very easily become a 15-lot subdivision in the coming future. I would much prefer to see it be, a family plot that's stable and not turning over and not a subdivision. Further, my understanding is that 30 acres, it could currently be 3 houses. Each house could have a guest house. That's really 6 houses. I moved to this area for a rural lifestyle and for a stable, quiet lifestyle. And I think this is preferable development. This is smarter development, in my opinion, than what could be coming down the tracks in the future if this isn't converted to this plan today. Thank you.
Were you able to understand
I'm sorry.
Were you able to understand the majority of what he was?
I think y'all heard him, Commissioner.
Okay.
I think they heard him. Thank you. Anyone else want to speak in favor? Anyone else? That portion is closed. We also allow 10 minutes for those that want to oppose tonight. You may come in this time. Please state your name, your address for the record, please. Those that want to oppose tonight have 10 minutes to do so.
Good evening, everybody. I'm
Good
Diane
evening.
Jennings, and I reside at 585 Henderson Mill Road. I am bringing to you a petition that I've gotten from 28 residents who were not able to attend this meeting, nor were able to be on the Zoom call with the zoning board when they first approved this. I have 28 residents that said that they do not want the zoning to be changed from A&R, from A to A&R. Our petition says that we, or the residents of District 5, Newton County, Georgia, humbly submit this signed petition for the denial of the request to change the zoning from agriculture to agriculture residential. We do not agree with the proposed plan. We have lived in this area from 1 to 30+ years, and it is not our desire to change the zoning. Our lifestyle is that of agriculture, and we take pride in preserving our land in its natural habit agricultural setting. We have excessive traveled traffic on Henderson Mill Road, and the potential to open the opportunity for the current and/or future applicants to add to the resident mass with the homes with 2 or more on acres will cause an even bigger problem. So please consider our request and not allow this rezoning to take an approval effect today. Also, again, I live there at 585 Henderson Mill Road, and the proposed plan is right on, it's 80 feet from my front door. And we just moved here in November from the city of Atlanta to get away from subdivisions, to get away from 5 houses, to get away from 3 houses. I love to be able to talk to the deer in the morning when they come by my window. And so I just don't think that it should be at our expense and at the expense of the residents who like, and not like, but love that lifestyle of agricultural living. You know, we're separated. We don't see one another, but we come together with one another when we need one another. But I just don't think that it is conducive to the lifestyle in which we paid for, and we paid good money. And again, we just moved there in November. And between the purchase and the renovation to come to be in this area in Newton County, which we love, we've spent almost $1 million. And I do not want to spend $1 million for somebody to be outside my front door 80 foot looking at me. I just can't see it. And again, the other residents, some are elderly, some are not, but they are in agreement that they do not want this area to change. Beside that property that they're purchasing is a 21-acre tract. Beside that property is a 75-acre tract, which says if you allow this to happen, more than 3 houses, more than 15 houses, more than 20 houses, we've got a boatload of houses, subdivisions, because we already know that the land mass in Newton County is low, and everybody's coming this way because they feel like, hey, here's an opportunity. We can, you know, we can come high and, you know, build houses. I think some of these other areas, some of the other districts, they're talking about building 500 to 1,000 homes, and it's going to be a mess. Traffic is already bad, so then we're going to have DOT involved, widening the roads. I mean, it's more than what meets the eye, and I just think that you all should reconsider it and look at it from what it really is and not approve to have them to subdivide this property and to change the zoning from agriculture to agriculture residential. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
David Perkins at 585 Henderson Mill as well, and I echo those sentiments. Again, our property is just to the east of a boundary, immediately adjacent, and the concept plan that's indicated shows a drive that's about 80% the length of our property line, and again, we would be facing the service drive or driveway or future road, if you will. Then probably will have street lights as well on it as well, and front doors, 5 houses that would face our front door, and that would be a concern of ours. And again, I think I like to echo the sentiment of the community, the petitions that have been signed over the last several days. The residents there have been there much longer, and they are obviously concerned. So again, this is not just a selfish concern, but it's a community-wide concern as well.
And if it's okay, I've got copies of the petitions for each one of you all.
Yes, ma'am. Can you give them to the clerk, please? We need them for the record. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to oppose tonight? Anyone else want to oppose? Thank you. That portion of our public hearing is closed. That is Commissioner Cowan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, as the comments I said earlier, normally I would support the Planning Commission's recommendation. However, I think that Henderson Mill Road is a boundary line that we need to preserve there and to stop the density from going down further. A lot of the residents in that area have called me and talked to me about that. They do not want to see subdivision of land, any more subdivision of land in that area. They want it to remain a agricultural type area. So for that reason, I would not support this rezoning.
So can you make a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to deny the rezoning REZ 30-000010.
It's 20, not 30.
Okay.
You got it.
20.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Cowan and second by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion? Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judy, these are, you may have mentioned this, these are minimum 2-acre lots in this particular area anyway in that Alcovey watershed?
Correct. There, if, regardless of what zoning you are, the minimum lot size is 2 acres.
So there could be 15 lots in here, right?
If it was, yes, sir, if it was rezoned to the AR or, and I'm not certain, but the 75-acre tract that was mentioned may already be zoned R2, which would allow 2-acre tracts, so you're looking at what, 37 or so homes there.
So the 70-acre tract is where?
Can we go back to the PowerPoint? And I may be mistaken. I want to make sure that I was understanding. Okay, here's the current zoning on the property. And the lot highlighted there in blue is the 30-acre tract under consideration.
Mm-hmm.
If you look just to the west of that, you'll see that yellow. That yellow is either R2 or R3 zoning, which is a single-family zoning that would already allow for a subdivision, a subdivision that would, you know, have the street lights and the storm ponds and things like that. Generally, in a family lot subdivision, it would be a shared driveway, and there would not be a request for street lights. I haven't seen one. You know, that would be, we wouldn't create a street light district like you would in a regular subdivision plat. This is would be a family plot.
But if the applicant were to be denied this rezoning, they could in fact come back before this board again with 15 lots as opposed to the 5, correct?
This property, yes, sir, could come back and ask for a rezoning to do an actual subdivision. Or if it stays under its current zoning, they have the right to build 3 primary homes, and each of those lots would have a right to build a guest home.
What, and in your opinion, and I realize this is opinion only, what chance would they have in legally in terms of being successful on getting 15 lots put in there based on the precedent that's set just northwest of there, the precedent's already been set?
Well, the future land use, as we mentioned as well, supports this rezoning. If the future land use was AF, agricultural forestry, then that is the ones we have designated to stay rural and those 10-acre plus lots. In a rural residential, that is a future land use which guides how the future development should go in the county, and that does support the rezoning request.
Okay, so in essence, we could say we're defending this area and overpopulation of this area by approving this request. That's my opinion, not yours. I'm sorry.
You could limit, this request could limit the number of lots, where if this was brought back by another owner or the same owner or a builder or a land use attorney, there is support here for rezoning.
Thank you, Judy. Mr. Chairman, would this be an appropriate time for a substitute motion?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to enter a substitute motion that we approve rezoning case REZ 20000010 with the staff recommendations.
There's a substitute motion that has hit the floor by Commissioner Edwards. Is there someone that will second that substitute motion? Can you repeat it, sir?
My substitute motion is to approve the rezoning case REZ 20000010 with staff recommendations.
Thank you, sir. Is there any support for the substitute motion? Any support for the substitute motion? That motion failed for lack of support. Now we're back to the original motion. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
District 5 is aye.
Oh, yeah, this is the original motion. Yeah, yeah. All in favor? Okay. All opposed? The motion is, it's denied, 4-1. Thank you. Ms. Judy?
Yes, sir, and I think we're to our next to last one now. We've had several this evening. The next petition before you is a rezoning request also. This is REZ 20-000008. This property is located on Highway 11 and at the intersection of I-20. It has a dual zoning on it at the current time, which is AR Agricultural Residential and CH Highway Commercial. It is located in District 1 and it is approximately 46.12 acres. The applicant, and again, I forgot the glasses. The applicant's intent is to rezone the 46.12 acre parcel from CH Highway Commercial and AR Agricultural Residential to CH Highway Commercial in order to develop the property with a truck stop. Thank you. Oh, okay.
Wow.
In order to develop a truck stop and a future big box shopping center in Phase 2. The subject site, again, has a total of 46.12 acres. It's located on the east side of Highway 11 and the south side of I-20. The applicant has provided a site plan, a proposed layout, and use for the property. The property currently has that dual zoning and is located in both Tiers 2 and 3 of the Brick Store overlay. The applicant is proposing to rezone the entire property to CH Highway Commercial. The property is located to the west across Highway 11 and south are currently zoned commercial, with a mix of both commercial and residential properties adjacent across Highway 11. The proposed zoning, if approved, will be subject to all conditions of zoning. Again, this is an aerial location. The parcel highlighted in blue is the proposed tract under request this evening. This is our zoning map. Again, as you can see, the parcel highlighted in blue has both AR zoning and CH and is surrounded by other light commercial zonings. The future land use map, the Brick Store overlay is in what we call a development node, and a development node is one of those future land uses that is open to all types of zoning requests. The watershed is the Little River watershed. The overlay map shows this again. If you'll look closer to the interstate there, you will see Tier 2, which is moderate commercial by our Brick Store overlay, and then Tier 3 is more of a town center vision by the Brick Store overlay. It is located in Commissioner District Number 1. This is a survey plat of the property, and this is a layout. Again, this is situated where you're looking at it as if you were on Highway 11, and the interstate here is going to be to your, well, it's to my left. But the parcel normally is situated where Highway 11 runs north and south. This again is another view of what the proposed development would look like. Site plan analysis. Based on the plat and conceptual building plans submitted on October 6, 2020 by the applicant to the Development Services Department, staff offers the following consideration. The applicant has submitted a site plan that shows a proposed 24,000 square foot building with a convenience store and fuel cells for automobiles and semi-trucks, a Burger King, a Dunkin' Donuts, and a Subway fast food restaurant. The convenience store will have approximately 153 parking spaces for automobiles, 10 parking spaces for RV, bus, and commercial trucks along the drive-through lanes for the Burger King and Dunkin' Donuts. The semi-truck parking lot will have 120 parking spaces, and it is located in the rear of the property. The applicant has indicated a willingness to meet any transitional buffer requirements that is needed for the adjacent residential properties. Other considerations. A development of regional impact, or a DRI, was required for this project due to the proposed use of a truck stop. The DRI report is included at the end of the staff report that you all received earlier after the applicant's information. Because there is a companion case for a conditional use permit that required the filing of the DRI, staff has further addressed the DRI in the conditional use permit request. Staff has received numerous emails and phone calls stating concerns in opposition to this petition and the companion case, CUP 20-000004. A letter from an organized group of citizens is included after the DRI report, and any signed petitions are included in separate documents. Conclusion. The proposed zoning designation is consistent with the policies and intent of the future land use and the comprehensive plan with approved zonings in the area. However, the proposed use for a truck stop is inconsistent with the comprehensive plan and the Brick Store Overlays District's suggestion of an emerging area designed to protect and further create a small town atmosphere. Board policy has indicated the need to maintain and provide a clear sense of entry at the Highway 11 exit on I-20 and has been very proactive in adopting the Brick Store Overlay District to help protect the scenic character of the area and to encourage quality development. In staff's opinion, the proposed truck stop would change the rural nature and character of the area that adopted policies and regulations have put in place to protect. At the Planning Commission meeting on January 26, 2021, they voted to recommend denial by a vote of 5-0. Recommended conditions. Should this petition be approved by the Board of Commissioners, it should be approved CH, Highway Commercial, conditional subject to the owner's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. Where these conditions conflict with the stipulations and offerings contained in the letter of intent, these conditions shall supersede unless specifically stipulated by the Board of Commissioners. 1, to the owner's agreement to abide by the following development standards. A, provide a 100-foot buffer as defined by Section 105-020 specific definitions for buffer along the entire frontage of Highway 11. B, all parking areas shall be of hard surface such as pavement or concrete to prevent any dust impact to neighboring properties. C, impervious setback for the property shall be 175 feet from the right-of-way as per Georgia Departments of Transportation's DRI review. D, maximum impervious surface shall be 75%, which percentage shall apply to both the entire property as well as any parcels created by future subdivision of the entire property. E, in order to protect the fragile wetlands and streams, the property shall comply with Section 520-010B, requiring a 35-foot natural and undisturbed riparian buffer for stream or wetland area. F, except for drive-through speakers for the fast food restaurants, no outdoor speakers are allowed. G, prohibited uses shall include 1, an amphitheater or a stadium. 2, auto repair, auto dealership sales except for minor repairs such as a lube change and auto parts as retail may be allowed. 3, a bar or nightclub. 4, campground or RV park. 5, private club, order, or lodge. 6, flea market. 7, manufactured home sales, rental, or repair. 8, kennel. 9, manufactured home display. 10, temporary produce stands. 11, farm equipment sales. 12, dry cleaning institutional except neighborhood dry cleaning would be allowed. 13, light manufacturing. 14, commercial outdoor recreational facilities. 15, private recreation center or club. 16, temporary religious meeting. 17, a sawmill or a planing mill. 18, mini warehouses. 19, tattoo parlors. 20, adult entertainment. 21, a pawn shop included would also be a title loan business. H, the buildings will be four-sided brick with vault shutters and will have a peaked parapet similar to the historic brick store. The brick color and bond style will emulate the actual brick store's historic building. Subset 1, in order to assure compliance, the building rendering must be approved by Development Services prior to the issuance of a building permit. I, developer shall comply with all of GDOT's requirements and recommendations provided with respect to the DRI Final Report number 3172, a copy of which is attached to these conditions below. And if it is the board's pleasure, I will not try to read all of those conditions, but that would be, should the board approve, staff would recommend that you apply these conditions to this property.
Thank you so much. We're going to open up for our public hearing. Guys, again, I have been advised that there's a large number of you here tonight to speak on this topic. Please get your 3 people and elect them to come up and speak for you. You only have 10 minutes. For those that want to speak in favor and those that want to oppose tonight, please do that. So now we're going to open it up. You have 10 minutes to do so. Those that want to speak in favor, the applicant, and those that want to speak in favor, please come tonight and state your name, your address for the record, please. Yes. Guys, before you get started, excuse me, can you put that on mute so that the comments don't be coming through while they're speaking? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Commissioners, thank you for giving us this chance to come tonight and give you a little insight as to what our proposal consists of. We represent a company called Jones Petroleum Company. We're headquartered in Butts County, Jackson, Georgia. We also a company that has been in the community here since 1982. At the time, I believe we acquired an oil distributorship here in the county by the name of Anderson Oil. And then maybe about 4 years later, there was a Gulf Oil distributorship by the name of CT Allgood. Many of you may remember that name. And we acquired both of those and have developed a number of convenience stores in the market area, particularly in the rural section of the county. We have a number of facilities. We're a diversified company. We have strip shopping centers, and we have grocery stores, some of which we operate, some of which we lease out. And we decided to pursue not a truck stop as the usual definition is applied to that, and I don't know of a generic definition for a truck stop. That term means a lot of different things to a lot of different folks. But we set out to build a facility on the interstate highways that would be attractive to family units that travel up and down the interstate. If any of y'all are guilty of that, and most of us are, you know that when you're traveling, usually the mama in the group's going to decide where we stop. And that's going to depend on what type of facility is available to them along the interstate right-of-ways. So we set out on about a 3-year planning mission to come up with a plan that would address the concerns of these family groups that travel up and down the interstate. And we came up with what we believe is a concept that addresses that. So we went through a rezoning of a site that had an overlay district very similar to what the brick overlays ordinance provides here in Newton County. And we encountered a whole lot of opposition, mainly because of the impression that many people have about the word truck stop. And although we have diesel units, diesel fueling capacity on the rear of the building, and you can see the one that we built out on that's on the screen up there. The thrust of it is for the motoring public, and most of the business that's done at this unit is done by people that doing just exactly what I said, and that's traveling from point A to point B along the interstate right of way. Now, the unit itself is not just a typical convenience store. It is a large area that accommodates not only the restaurant needs of people that are traveling, but it has a lot of retail components to it. One part of it that gets particularly a lot of attention is a 2,500 square foot gift shop. And a lot of, in fact, this unit has been in place now approximately 2 years, and that's one of the most popular features about it, is the big variety of gifts that are sold there. The entrance to the place is on the front side is for the motoring public, and we have two large restroom facilities for them. They are each 1,500 square feet, and they have 28 combined toilet facilities there. And we have round-the-clock cleaning crews that keep them clean to the point that you could almost eat your lunch off the floors. And the rear section has an entrance for the ladies and men who drive trucks and who want good, clean accommodations. And they enter from the rear, have separate retail area for them, and have a separate bathroom and shower facilities for them also. So I don't think if you ever took the time to go visit this facility, you would come away with a negative connotation in your mind about the facility itself. It's an expensive proposition to put one of these things together. And I noticed that when the Regional Planning Commission did their report on the facility itself, it would lend itself almost to a public-private partnership kind of a thing, in as much as they suggested that the revenue generated for the community, for the county, would be $3 million or more per annum. So it's a revenue generator, and it's a contributor to offset what might otherwise be, well, it would offset a lot of property taxes that would otherwise have to be paid by the property taxpayers in the Newton County area. One of the things that we have, and it is a 24-hour facility, and I noticed some of the complaints, suggested complaints, was something called light pollution. This facility itself, I don't think if you ever take the time to visit it, you don't hear a whole lot of noise associated with it. I heard the suggestion that these truck motors run and create congestive ass currents and have noise associated with running engines. It's just not true. It's just not at this facility. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen at some areas. I've heard the complaints about drugs and prostitution and all the negative connotations you can place around this, I can tell you with round-the-clock security, we don't have it. We do not have it. It won't put up with it. If your family wants to go there, they want to go there to a nice, clean, well-lit facility, something that's not going to be intimidating with a dimly lit area for people to use, and you're just not going to find that to be the case here. I was reading just a few minutes about the comments of your staff, and your planning staff here, and I really, when I look at this, I don't think we have any differences about the zoning. It seems that it fits all the criteria for zoning to be rezoned to a commercial zoning classification. Under your findings on, I'm sure y'all have one of these copies here, the staff in paragraph A says, staff is of the opinion that the proposed commercial zoning and use for retail development is appropriate for the area. However, the proposed truck stop, and that's where we part company on definitions, the proposed truck stop use may not be appropriate. That's in paragraph A of their findings.
Thank you, sir. That's 10 minutes. And I greatly appreciate you coming and presenting tonight.
Have I used up my 10 minutes?
You did, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, I kept looking up there. You had that meter running. But
yeah, he had it over there running for you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much.
Let me just conclude by saying that I don't think y'all would violate your staff's intent with the rezoning. The conditional use permit is where we seem to part company, and we've had not enough time to illustrate why that ought not be granted.
Thank you,
okay?
sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, so thank you very much.
Thank you. We. Yeah. So, guys, what's his name? Okay. Sir, can you give us your name, please, for the record? Bill Jones. Thank you so much. Mr. Jones did take the 10 minutes of their time. Now we're going to open it up. That portion of our public hearing is closed. We're going to open it up for those that want to oppose tonight. Please, ma'am, please, sir, state your name for the record, please. Please be mindful. I don't know if you guys had elected somebody to speak. Y'all did? Okay.
Yeah, we got
all right.
more. I'm going to try to talk as fast as I can, and
Okay.
I can do that, can't I, JC? This is my model tonight. This is my husband, Stanley Long. I'm Leanne Long, 305 River Cove Road. I am Leanne Long. I'm a former county commissioner of District 2. Welcome to the club, female county commissioners here. And obviously, the petitioner and I have a different opinion of what a truck stop is, so I'm going to tell you tonight why that you guys should deny this zoning for us. I sent you a package. Hopefully you guys got that. I did go visit the center that the petitioner has that they just built out on out on Highway 16, Butts County, and it looks nothing like Highway 11. So it has not an overlay like it is out at Brick Store. So I want you guys to look at that. It's definitely an industrial area. And that's really where truck stops should be, in an industrial area. So I do agree that the area should be somewhere that's industrial. So there's no housing or anything. This is a presentation of the Brick Store overlay. This shows you everywhere where you see an orange arrow is a subdivision or residential areas. This is the Mount Pleasant area. If you're not familiar with the Brick Store, you learn lots of little things like the Hub, Brick Store, Pony Express. You learn a lot of those things when you're out in this area. But this is Mount Pleasant, and this is the college. This is the proposed subject area. Don't need a truck stop right by the college and all this community here, which would be like Clark's Grove, if you don't know what that's going to be, at the Mount Pleasant area. So some of the things that I want to really make a point about, you have two zoning requests tonight. You have the highway commercial that you're looking at, and then you have the conditional use permit for the truck stop. My main thing tonight is it's very dangerous to zone something highway commercial without the correct end user. You guys just put into place a great thing with the zoning for you to go back and look. JC, we were in the years of all these crazy zonings. Get ready, you guys, it's coming back. It's great for you to go out and look at these zoning things, get them up to date. We went through 10 years of no zoning request. It's coming back, guys. So this is a prime example of why the CH should be turned down tonight, because the end user is the most important part. Who is that end user? When you leave it out to chance and you go ahead and zone it CH, I heard, and I hate that Mr. Cowan is not here. I hope he's listening to me. We want to turn down the CH tonight also, because that's important. If you leave that CH open, you go ahead and zone that CH tonight, then you just leave it open for anybody else to come in. I gave you a piece of paper here tonight that says Rockdale turned down all truck stops. They went in and they changed their ordinance because they left a loophole in their ordinance. They had a lot of CH property out there near the expressway zoned, and someone came in and tried to put in another truck stop because there was a loophole in their ordinance for it. So I want to make sure that I make that clear tonight that I'm looking for a denial on the CH also. Wait till you have an end user. I developed property in Rockdale, Newton, and Henry County. I showed you what a township looks like. Publix fought us to death on changing that Publix to look like that. But you can get these developers to build what you want in your community. And that's what we're looking for out here at the Brick Store Overlay. 16 years, JC, working on the Brick Store Overlay, right? We don't want to change those. We want to keep those overlays in place. You got it at Salem Road, you got it at Almond Road. Don't make changes in those. Keep those together. There's a reason why we have those overlays for our community, for great communities to keep these things growing. And not just because somebody applies for an application, do we have to change the zoning. We need to keep with the plan, make sure we do smart developments and smart zoning. And I'm going to let the rest of my colleagues speak tonight on the rest of their information that they have. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. If you would, please state your name and your address for the record, please.
Thank you very much, gentlemen and ladies, tonight. My name is Wayne Pugh. I live at 75 River Cove Meadows, Social Circle, Georgia, just across the street from the proposed truck stop. I believe I sent a email to each one of you guys today with a package in it. If you didn't get it, I'd like to have you, I brought a extra copy if you'd like to have it, just for your
Can we have it
records.
for the record, please? Can we have it for the record, please? Yes. Thank you. You can give it to me, sir. Thank you so much.
It just talks about our petition and talks about what our area and what we're working for. Just a few things here. I know we got to be quick, and I said, you know, there is no way a travel center or a truck stop should be adjacent across the street from a college. That is just absolutely absurd. It's just, and in a neighborhood within a mile and a half of a residential neighborhoods. We are aware of the creek and the watersheds that's on the back of this property. If you allow them to do this, that water has got to be moved or changed or redirected onto some other property that adjacent to this property or into the wetlands that's already around it. There's also, if you think about 46 acres of pavement and concrete, you know, that's a lot of water. It's got to go somewhere. Of course, I'm sure they will have something to do with it, but in that water, you're going to have oil, you're going to have fuel, you have all other kinds of liquids that comes off of these trucks. You're going to have truck drivers pulling up, and they all wash their windshield, wash their doors, wash their fronts. You got road grime coming all from the highways. It's all got to go back into the watershed somewhere, and it's going to contaminate the wetlands. You got idling trucks, and he says there's no noise from them. Well, I'm going to tell you this. I own a trucking company. I just tell you that up front. Fairly small one, about 47 trucks here in Newton County. I moved out here because I like the area. I specifically like River Cove, where I built my home about 28 years ago. And I am hard hearing from noise of the engines, and I've had cancer from probably the exhaust systems and breathing exhaust from trucks because I've been around them the biggest part of my life. But let's just say the EPA has a link on this handout I gave you that talks about how toxic chemicals in diesel fuel can cause cancer. We have 3 truck stops within 13 to 15 miles of our exit. There's a TA, a Pilot, and a Love's. The truck stops, he says it don't attract drugs, crimes, and human trafficking. I've been around it all my life. Unfortunately, the era is, it just comes along with being on the road for 3 or 4 weeks, a month at a time. These drivers get out there. It just happens, and there's nothing we can do about it. My company's a little bit different from that. We don't run the road for weeks at a time. We're only out and back during the day. Just want to add that to it. From the traffic standpoint on Highway 11 already, mornings and afternoons, you cannot get through the 4-way stop sign right there at 278 and Highway 11. It's really terribly bad. If you put a truck stop here, you have to reconstruct the entire on and off ramps, the way all the traffic flows, redo 4 lanes all the way across there, and I just don't think that the county's got that much. We have about 915 petitions, and I got them just in sequence here. I don't have them all, but I just got them in their name and their addresses that has opposed this truck stop.
So I just want to.
We're crying out to you to say, oppose this truck stop, please. We are asking you, please, deny this for this project. Thank you again. And Mr. Klein would never let this happen in his neighborhood around there. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Can I have that petition, sir? Sir, can I get that petition, please?
My name is, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my name is Ashley McIntosh. I'm going to try to make this very quick. I'm speaking for the neighborhood of Deerfield, located off Highway 278 here in Covington. Our neighborhood has 72 homes, and we are firmly against the rezoning of this property in parcel number 112-017 at the intersection of Highway 11 and Interstate 20. I'm going to try to just cut to the meat of my argument. Mr. Jones stated that it is a travel center, but upon visiting his establishment, it is a truck stop. Truck stops are a breeding ground for crime because of their location, their ease of access to the interstate, and the fact that they are open 24 hours a day. Our sheriff's department cannot handle the crime that this is going to bring here. On the east side of the county, the sheriff's office typically has 1 deputy for all 3 zones that make up the east side of Newton County. We cannot handle the crime that this truck stop is going to bring. And also, we do not have the fire stations or the fire engines that if this facility were to catch fire in any number of the businesses that he proposed, we're not able to handle it as a county. The sheriff's office cannot handle the crime that this business will bring. The fire stations cannot handle the potential for fire that this is going to bring. And our roadways cannot handle the massive amount of traffic that this is going to bring. We have a rest area that is 5.3 miles from this exit. This is unnecessary. We have a giant Love's truck stop in Madison that is 15 miles from this exit. This is an unnecessary expense for the county. It's going to diminish property values. It's going to put every man, woman, and child in the county in danger. So saying thank you for your time. Sorry, I was trying to make that as quick as possible.
No, thank you so much. That's in District 1, Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like a motion to deny rezoning case number REZ 200000 08.
Can I get a second, please? It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards that we deny this rezoning, and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not gonna belabor the points that have already been made around pollution, traffic. You know, I think Ms. Long made mention of the fact that 15, 16 years ago, residents of this area, county leaders, all stakeholders got together and put together a brick store overlay. They got together and put together overlays all over the county. The Salem Road overlay, I believe it's called, and the Alman overlay. So and they put stipulations with that in place, with those overlays in place for a reason, and it was to encourage the type of growth that the community wants. You can look at the comprehensive plan. At a high level, the comprehensive plan labels the Hub Junction as a character area. And in this character area, the vision is a regional educational center, a regional education center. Implementation strategies, if I read down the list, and these are referenced in the Northeast Georgia Regional Commission's DRI final report. If I read down the implementation strategies of this particular character area, the last two: discourage mass grading along the interstate viewshed, prohibit truck loading areas, outdoor storage, and parking lots from being visible from the interstate. That would be almost impossible with a facility of this size. So I don't, this has nothing to do with Jones Petroleum. It would have nothing to do with Love's. It would have nothing to do with any other person that wanted to come to our community. One other thing I want to mention is $3 million was used as, was spoken about in terms of tax revenue. I believe that revenue would be eaten up immediately by infrastructure, even year over year. And Northeast Georgia Regional Commission's DRI final report even mentions the fact that the $3 million, the estimated $3 million will be consumed by infrastructure early on. One other thing I'd like to add, Northeast, on the DRI final report. While the travel center is a natural use for an interstate exit, the overall proposal appears inconsistent with these regional plan recommendations. And that's an excerpt, of course. But I just want to say that to echo the sentiments of the people in that area, a truck stop or a travel center, whatever name you want to call it, is just not in keeping with what we're trying to create in the educational village type atmosphere in that area. For that reason, I oppose. I put forth the motion to deny this rezoning request. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any more discussion? I'm sorry? Yes, he made it, and Commissioner Mason seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Cowan?
District 5 is aye.
Thank you. That motion passes. It's denied. Thank you.
Chairman, as a point of order, because the rezoning did not move forward, we cannot consider the conditional use, so there will be no hearing on the conditional use because it would have required the rezoning in order to move forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Back to citizen comment. Hey guys, we are still in our meeting tonight, so we definitely don't do that in our meeting. Guys, we're back to citizens' comments. Any more citizen comments? That's okay. No, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Thank you. Yes, sir. You can come up. Please state your name. I'm sorry.
Good evening. Excuse me. Ronnie Glover. I live in 250 Oakwood Manor subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to talk about the community center that Ms. Commissioner Sanders had introduced to our community as far as the park is concerned. Like everyone else that stated that point, that we did not know that it did exist, and now knowing that it does exist and that it could be developed for something even more for it. There's a lot from this area here that our community can actually grow with, especially the children and the growth of our community itself. Right now, we're looking at an additional 542 more homes in the subdivision that's being planned. These children need someplace to go. And something like this here, especially with different organizations that are out there, like the 100 Black Men, 100 Black Women, or NAACP, and all these other major organizations that can participate as far as helping out, mentoring the communities, the tech programs that are out there that are able to assist in this area, the adult education that is out there that would help with the adults out there, is definitely needed. A place where we can go and communicate and develop ourselves within a cohesive community and grow. So that's my point. I understand the young lady that was up here earlier, she spoke about the drugs or the illicit sex that was going on within that area itself. All of this would go away with the adult supervision that I know that'll be participating within that facility itself, because they would be a part of it and not just the children attending this facility itself that we've talked about. So hopefully we can steamroll this and get everybody involved and get different ideas and suggestions of how it can come together and make something like this happen for not just Newton County, but District 3 in itself, which is much needed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? State your name and address for the record, please.
Again,
Yes, ma'am.
Leanne Long, 390 River Cove Road. Real quick, I couldn't talk 100 miles an hour a while ago, but I just wanted to say real quick about the zoning moratorium that you guys did. I didn't want to talk ahead of our zoning a while ago, but it's really good that you guys did that, and I think I wanted to clear out why.
So.
Can you hear?
Yeah, so this is for a.
I know you're talking about
well,
citizen
go ahead,
comments,
go
but
ahead,
it
go
is a citizen comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know you can't make me stop.
Go ahead, go ahead.
All right,
Go
so
ahead.
don't even try, Marcelo.
Go ahead.
He was my student
I
one
know
time.
that's right.
So he was my
Go ahead.
student, so. But anyway, about item number 15 on the agenda.
Okay.
So real quick about that, it was when you guys have your work session, as a realtor and a developer in the county, it's real important to look at those development ordinances, because we didn't build for 10 years and things have changed. And that's one of the reasons why y'all are doing that, JC, because things have changed, and what has happened is lots of things have changed environmentally, building, everything, and taking a look at those zoning ordinances will get you back on track, because people are coming in now, and you want to make sure that you are doing better building than you were before, because I'm sure you've gotten yelled at a lot, okay? Because we made a lot of mistakes back in those days.
I got cussed out since then.
Yeah, so you want to make sure the materials you're using and things like that are a lot better, and the quality is better, and adding to them, and lots of things that we didn't do and mistakes that we made. So it's really good that you guys are doing that, and Judy does a fantastic job, because I've been her ear a lot. So I think it's really good, and that's really the reason why I think it's really good to do that. So I'm glad, I commend you guys for doing it. So it's really important to catch up before the next wave comes, because it's coming. All right? So, all right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Any more citizens' comments?
Good late evening. I'm Shaquila Henderson Baker. I reside at 45 Northwood Springs Drive, Oxford, Georgia. I also serve as the District 3 Board of Education representative for the Newton County School District. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Boys and Girls Club, where I serve on the Board of Directors for the Girls and Boys Club. I just wanted to provide a brief history because I have a concern about the West Side community funding. And so a brief history is the Newton County Boys and Girls Club actually came about from a constituent named Andre Cooper and had the strong, very strong backing of a well-respected judge in this community, Judge Horace, the late Judge Horace Johnson. Together, they joined a group of individual stakeholders, elected officials in that area, myself being one, at that time Commissioner Nancy Schultz being another one, other stakeholders, entrepreneurs, to look at the idea of bringing a Girls and Boys Club in that community because the kids in that district needed something. The other districts had something, and that is the district that has a lot of population of students. Our largest high school is there. We have multiple elementary and middle school schools there. With that being said, what we did do is we actually had listening sessions versus just going full forward. We needed to see that the constituents would be vested. We needed to see what the kids actually wanted. So we had a couple of listening sessions across months. One was at the Potter's House. Another one was at St. Paul AME Church. And then we had another one at the Enclave off of Fairview Road in their community stakeholder. We asked kids what they wanted, not only the stakeholders, because we needed to get their vested interests. We needed for them to have autonomy in what they wanted to bring in the community. The kids mentioned things like culinary, a recording studio, leadership, field trips, homework help, networking, marketing, gaming, a lot of the things that are not taught within the school system. And so that was the items that we looked at. Many of the kids are already vested in sports in the school system or with AAU traveling teams, also with competitive teams. In fact, now you can get scholarships from a traveling team. We have an 8th grader in our school district who's now a sophomore, but she committed to Auburn in 8th grade, and it wasn't through middle school. I see you, Commissioner Edwards, over there shaking your head, but it wasn't through middle school, but it was through her travel lead. Her name is Kyla Stroud. And so we asked the kids what they wanted, and we are wholeheartedly trying our best to give the students, the kids, what they desire and what they wanted. I would ask that you at least have a discussion with the board of directors to ask what our vision is. Our vision may as well be the same thing, but we don't know because we haven't had a discussion. I ask that you reach out to the kids that we have positively impacted so far in the small building that we have so far. You never know what they may have to say. I ask that you at least do that before you move forward with doing anything else. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone? Please state your name, your address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is, can you hear me? Everybody
Yes,
hear me?
yes.
Good evening. My name is Kerry Foster. I reside at 40 Rebellion Way, Covington, Georgia. I am the director of the Newton County Boys and Girls Club. I'm also a business owner in Newton County. My family and I, we moved to Newton County about 14 years ago. And from that point on, we've seen in our area on the west side, District 3, that there was a need for community outreach. So maybe 7 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, my wife and I, we opened up our business, which is the Dungeon Boxing Gym, and we've been servicing kids in our community since then. Our oldest is 27, our youngest is sitting over there, she's 14. So we've had 3 generations of kids come up in the Newton County area. So we have a relationship with a lot of the kids in our community. They come through our gym, they came through our establishment. We've had good relationship with schools, so I would consider us a pillar in the community. A couple of years ago, Boys and Girls Club opened up, and I met Mr. Bob Mackey. He brought me in, and they're a pillar in the community. They are a national organization, nationwide organization with respect, and I think that if we work together, along with whatever program the that you guys are trying to implement, that we could serve the kids more. I don't think that it would be a great idea to dismantle something that, you know what I'm saying, that has been built and we've already, you know, to have motion with. We have a great deal of respect, well, a bond with the kids in our community, and we want to keep that moving and moving forward. So to me, it just doesn't make, it wouldn't make sense to me, and it's just my personal opinion, for us to take away a national organization, an organization that's on a national level, to create an organization that's on a local level. I think that we are able to reach more people, more parents will be more susceptible to bringing their kids to the Boys and Girls Club, which is the national name. When we relocated, we came down, that's what we were looking for, you know, so.
Keep talking to Mike, they're having trouble hearing, sir.
Okay, yes. Most of the people that relocate to the area that I've met are from different areas. So that name, the national name of the Boys and Girls Club, is a name that they're familiar with, coming from different areas. So that's, to my understanding, that's why I say, you know, with myself, that has been a pillar in the community, my family, my business, with the gym, along with collaborating with the Boys and Girls Club, I think that we'll be able to make a greater difference. So that's what I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Bob Mackey, 110 Hampton Place, Covington, Georgia. I'm the president and CEO for the Boys and Girls Clubs of North Central Georgia, but more importantly, I'm a resident of Newton County. Been here quite a while. I was in the community before I was in the community. That's how deeply rooted I am for the community. When you look at Boys and Girls Clubs, you hear some of the concerns that were presented tonight about kids using drugs, about teen pregnancy, you know, finding condoms on the ground, you know, litter. If you ride by our club, you notice from what was just 2 modular units, it has created and uplifted a portion of an area that was an eyesore. When we talk about teenage pregnancy in Newton County, we've served 129 teens. For the teens who attended the club 3 or more times or more a week, we have had no teens who ended up teen parents out of 129 teens. That's amazing. When we talk about kids using drugs, over 90% of our teens, because they're given a survey, it's called the National Youth Outcome Survey. They asked about drugs prior to them coming to the club. Have you ever used marijuana? Have you ever used drugs more than twice? The survey was high, but when we looked at the recidivism rates after we brought them in, gave them programs, supportive relationships, the second time, it was almost little to none. Meaning they tried it before the intervention of Boys and Girls Club, and they didn't try it again. And that is so important to us because one of the things we want, Newton County can't grow without kids. You know, I don't care which way we look at it, it will not happen. The kids are our future. We want to ensure that every child has an opportunity to become a responsible, productive, caring citizen of Newton County. And with our positive relationships each and every day, from when the doors are open to the doors are closed, most of the crime, as we know, takes place when kids get out of school. When you look at juvenile delinquency, you know, having that time, we're open between 3 and 7 p.m. So for the ones who enter our doors, they have a better opportunity of being safe, of being educated. There were 8 teens this year through our partnership with Old Navy on a national level that received their first paying job through the partnership at Old Navy. As a matter of fact, many of them are just getting off now. They were able to get the interview job skills at the Boys and Girls Club. They scheduled an interview with Old Navy, and all 8 of those young teens were hired. So that has given an opportunity. And also when we look at the Staten Springs area, such as Facebook, we went into a program with Engineers for the Week.
Thank you, sir. Time's up. I greatly appreciate you being here.
I'll be back.
Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, he'll be back, yeah.
Good evening. My name is Alfreda Durham. I live at 45 Hugh Drive on the west side of the county. I've been here since 2002. Newton County has become a place where I live, work, and play. I've seen a lot of growth, positive growth on that side of the county, but it is growing. And with growth comes kids. Having worked in the school system also and taught, the Boys and Girls Club is very much needed. I am the mother of a youth that attends the Boys and Girls Club. I've seen great growth in her. She's excited about the Boys and Girls Club. Help her to nurture relationships, meet people, to kind of guide her in the directions in which she needs to go. And I think that's always positive. If we don't have something for them to do, they will find something to do. And the Boys and Girls Club represents something positive, other than gangs in the county. So I am very much for it. I hope you continue to support and fund the Boys and Girls Club. They do need a bigger facility, but it has a lot of benefits for them. She get excited about going to the Boys and Girls Club. Sometimes she, you know, it may be one or two there, but she's excited about going. And I do see the growth in her. So I beg of you, I plead with you to really consider funding, keeping the Boys and Girls Club around, especially for our teens. It is very much needed. And in the area in which it is now, there's a lot of housing over there, and it is a positive place to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, we're gonna take a quick recess for 5 minutes. I know commissioners are asking for a restroom break, so we're gonna go to a 5-minute recess. Thank you. We need to go to one meeting a month, please.
It does good until, I think Jason didn't tell me to do it halfway, so I I filled it all the way up. So I'm gonna tell him, I need instructions.
Thank you, guys. We are back in our regular scheduled meeting. Next is the chairman's report. We got a slight mix-up on dates here, so we're going to reschedule the MLK Awards recipients. So we're going to move down to the county manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, but I know the meeting has already run long, so in the interest of not continuing any longer than possible, I'm going to skip my report for tonight, and we'll move right on down the line.
Okay. All right. Next is the consent agenda. Commissioners, I seek a motion that we approve, please.
So move.
It's been motion. Will you second that?
Oh, yes, second.
Thank you. It's been motioned by Commissioner Sanders and second by Commissioner Mason. All in favor? It passes. Commissioner Cowan? Aye. Thank you. It passes 5-0. Brittany, financials. Brittany, if you would please come up tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd first like to bring your attention to the budget calendar that I passed out right before the meeting. It doesn't seek any approval. I just wanted to bring to your attention specifically the dates in blue. These are our budget workshops. This is tentative, so if you have any issues with any of these dates, let me know. As of last year, you know, not everybody was there all the time because they are all-day meetings, and we know y'all have jobs. So, but if you do have any issues with any of the dates, because this is the budget workshops where the departments will come and present their budgets to you, the appropriations will come and present their budgets to you, and the elected officials will as well. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention first. Tonight, I will be presenting the January 2021 financials. January is the 7th month of our fiscal year, so that should put us roughly around 58% of our budget. First, I'll discuss the general fund revenues. For the year, we've brought in $51.9 million in our revenues. Our budget is 76.2 in revenue, so we're at 68% of our revenues, so we are trending higher, but we have collected one portion of our property taxes for the year, so this is pretty normal for this time of year. And this is a graph that shows our revenues for the years by month, and then the actuals to year-to-date budget. And this one is a slide about our general fund budget expenditures, and our expenditures for the year have been $39.7 million, which puts us at right around 52%, so we are trending a little bit below the 58% that we are targeted at this time of year. And this graph shows our expenditures by month and also the expenditures to the budgeted for the year. And this is our general fund totals, and the green shows our revenues for the year, and the blue shows our expenditures for the year. So as of now, we are $12.1 million over in revenues and expenditures, but as the year goes on, that will progressively get smaller. And this is our three enterprise funds, which are our water fund, our solid waste fund, and our Gaithers fund. Year-to-date revenue for the water fund has been $5.9 million. And their year-to-date expenditures is $3.7 million, and that puts them at 44% of their budget and expenditures. The solid waste fund, the revenue for the year has been $4.5 million, which is 75% of their revenues, and their expenditures have been $2.7, which is 52%. And the Gaithers fund, their revenues this year have been $212,000, which is 57%, and their year-to-date expenses has been $150,000, which is 38%. We still have three current SPLOST. There's the 05 SPLOST, which just has one more debt payment on our 06 COPS admin debt. And then once that's paid, we'll be able to wrap up the 05 SPLOST. We currently have two remaining projects in the 2011 SPLOST, one of which is Fire Station 8, and the other which is the historic jail. We currently have $1.1 million remaining in the 2011 SPLOST. The 2007 SPLOST, we currently have a balance of $24.4 million, and we do have several projects that are in the works right now that are bonded, so we are able to move forward with those projects, even though we're not fully collected there. And our SPOS revenues to date, we're at 48.5 million collection to date, which puts us roughly about 10.7 over the projected revenues for the 2017 SPOS. In our impact fee fund, we currently have a balance of $2.7 million in impact fee fund. And that wraps up my presentation, so I'll take any questions you have.
Thank you, Brittany. Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are there any additional funds that are coming in for the 2017 splash? I mean, like overage, like sometimes you
Our
collect more.
overage right
yeah.
now is 10.7 million, but I think Lloyd mentioned last meeting, we've already, the board's already voted to approve to use those for the E911 project.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions, commissioners? Thank you. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Next is discussion consideration of future West Side youth facility. Ms. Martin.
Thank you, Chairman Baines. As you all recall, the SPOS committee met and proposed many different projects as a part of our most recent SPOS, one of which was a West Side youth facility. That is a project that is still on that SPOS to be funded. It is true that the Boys and Girls Club had worked with the county earlier to work in that particular West Side youth facility. However, there are no leases, no MOUs, or anything that ties the county to the Boys and Girls Club as far as our financial or legal commitments. The county can decide how they would like to handle the SPOS project. Whether the county wants to continue partnering with the Boys and Girls Club, or the county has other options that it may pursue. But this is something that I believe we are already over on our funding for this SPOS. I think she said 10-something million, so there is money there to work on this facility. I've received a few questions about, well, how does it work with SPOS dollars and something like an entity like the Boys and Girls Club? We can't just give them things. Well, that's where the difficulty in SPOS lies. In those scenarios, what you do is that you partner with an entity and they essentially lease back the county's building. So the county builds a building and says, hey there, ABC Club, you can be here for some negligible amount of per month because it's for the community good and the community growth and safety. So that is how these transactions occur. It is not abnormal to have such transactions. So now the ball is in the board's court to determine what they want it to look like at this youth facility and different ideas of how to best serve that part of the county. I will answer any questions you all have on SPOS or SPOS related to this.
Any questions, commissioners? Commissioner Sanders.
I guess so. Mine is more so a comment. I just want to make sure this is for the record. I have no idea why some of the citizens that came here tonight to think that I, Elena Sanders, was trying to dismantle the Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club is a separate entity from the county. There are $495,000 that each commissioner is given from the SPLOSH to put in their community. The citizens expressed what they wanted. If you go on the Nextdoor app, if you go, we did actually a focus group, and the focus group, I want to make sure I correct Ms. Rodriguez, was with teenagers, so you wouldn't have been invited to that one. So it wasn't a.
Hey guys,
So-
we don't do that.
So the focus group wasn't based on that. It was a group of teenagers that expressed what they wanted in the community. And the Boys and Girls Club did not provide that. It did not provide what we needed for the Generation Y and that Generation Z. When I sat down and researched the Boys and Girls Club, because I'm an educator as well, the Boys and Girls Club is a great and wonderful national program. Generation Xers, baby boomers, has successfully come through that program. But when you're dealing with Generation Y and Generation Z, which is our technology generation, we have to do more. When I researched those programs, and this is why it came about, why the citizens wanted something bigger for the community, that's something that actually would cater to our youth. One of their programs was yoga. How many of you know a teenager is going to sit still and do yoga? Yoga is great. I'm a fitness professional. But how many of you know that? One of the programs was STEM. Now we have STEAM, which includes the arts. So you left out a whole bunch of students, the arts, but it also focuses on architectural. It focuses on, it focuses on aeroscience, which means you left out the doctors, the technology, those who are in math. All of that was left out of that program. It had a kids zone where it helped the kids with their homework. The programs are antiquated. It has nothing to do with not wanting the Boys and Girls Club and community. Lastly, the Boys and Girls Club is sponsored by 88 Fortune 500 corporations, money that the county cannot even get their hands on. The major leagues, Samsung, Coca-Cola, Microsoft, the WWE, Worldwide Wrestling. These are companies that sponsors the Boys and Girls Club where they can get funding. Also, you can go look at this on their website. Lowe's also gives them assistance to build. The other issue was they were partnering with the school system to find land. And as I spoke with our county manager and some others, they could not find the land. This did not come about until the citizens wanted a park and a community center, and that the $495,000 splash money that's there, which we were talking about earlier, that would assist with some of this oversight of money instead of the taxpayers paying for it, it comes to splash, goes into community. The other thing is, when you have the Boys and Girls Club, and we're giving them our taxpayers' dollars, giving to the Boys and Girls Club, we have no say-so in their program. Once you give that money to them, you have no say-so in to alter their program because they're a national corporation, a national nonprofit organization that answers to a higher above us. So why would we give $500,000 of our taxpayers' dollars to something that we cannot manage or do anything with? It makes no sense. We have, as a county, are responsible for our youth. Yes, partnering with someone is great. I've heard some of the commissioners say, well, it takes it off of our hands. That's being lazy with our kids. That's being completely lazy when we have kids on the west side that have certain needs, and you look at the stats that are rising in our community. In the school system, the literacy rate is below the average, and as he just stated that he only can cater to right now 129 kids. Do you know how many kids are on the west side? That's part of District 4, District 2, and District 3. That doesn't even go to 10% of our children on that side. So this was not something to dismantle the Boys and Girls Club. It was something to make the Boys and Girls Club greater. Also, to go a little bit further into the Ms. Rodriguez has stated about me meeting with her yesterday in regards to this. She invited me to her HOA meeting on January 22nd, which the meeting was yesterday. It was not pertaining to the Boys and Girls Club, it's that for them to get to know me as a commissioner and her asked questions. And what they stated, if we build that, I took detailed notes and have it detailed. They say if this actually comes in the community, because I didn't hear this from anybody else on the call, they said if we actually build this building, what they only want to do was get rid of the parking lot to put a fence so they can get rid of the parking lot so the traffic would not go through there. They also stated they would like to upgrade the park because there's cracks, and also I walk that park as well, because there's cracks in the actual walkway. And if citizens walk on it with their walk or whatever, it's a liability to the county, and they will literally fall because it's a narrow park. The park has not been renovated since its existence. So this is not something to dismantle the Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club can get funding, but stuff that we need for our community, our taxpayers' hard-working dollars, just to give to an entity that we have no control over and to manage our kids, we need to think about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, until just now, a few minutes ago, I didn't know what the demarcation point was between item 11 and the Boys and Girls Club, but with all these good people that came up and spoke. So I know this was a SPLOST project on the 2017, is that correct? And if I remember correctly, I don't know that it's documented anywhere, but it was sold to the public as a partnership between the Boys and Girls Clubs and the county, if I recall correctly. And that's how it was sold by the SPLOST committee. I actually made the list for the SPLOST committee and then advertised to the public, if I recall correctly. So if we break that partnership, what does that mean in terms of, are we breaking our word with what we intended to do with this money? I just have and my second concern, I guess, is I know the Boys and Girls Clubs, if I'm not mistaken, they handle the M&O, the maintenance and operation. And if we broke that partnership, if we broke with that partnership, the county would then have that M&O expense, right? Is that?
Mr. Kerr?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What was intended here, the county was going to build, basically for $495, we'd get a shell of a building. The discussions with the Boys and Girls Club were that they would, and again, none of this was formalized through any kind of a formal agreement, but our understanding was, and what they had indicated and what they had committed to, was to complete the interior of the building and then to provide programming for the kids. And they would also take care of the M&O, maintenance and operations in the building. We would still retain ownership, and that allows us to spend the SPLOST dollars to build the building. But we would still retain ownership, and there would be a long-term or an agreement with them that they could continue to use the facility. And I'm sure it would be very similar to the other memorandums of understanding or memorandums of agreement that we have with some of the other organizations that we work with, in that if there were to be, the idea was that they would be there operating it and providing the programming so long as the county was satisfied that they were meeting the needs of the community. So it was not there was not a, the agreement committed us to allow them to use the building and all, but we still had some control in the sense that with every agreement there are always opportunities for, if one side or the other is not pleased with the outcomes, that they can take steps in order to dissolve that agreement. So we would not be giving them the building. It would still be our building, and if we saw a better use for it sometime in the future, then obviously that would be part of a discussion. But anyway, to answer your question, it was part of the SPLOST. It was, as I recall, that there was quite a bit of discussion, and there was, it was, the general understanding was that it would be the Boys and Girls Club, except for the fact that there had not been any formalized agreement with it. We have been working with the school system to try to see if we can't work out a land swap with the school system. We haven't been able to quite nail all that down yet, but we have talked with them about two properties. This site, actually, Fairview Park, would be an excellent site for it if those did not work out. So,
and the last part of my question was, do we recall the exact wording on the ballot, the voting ballot? I mean, how was that addressed?
West Side Youth Facility.
Yeah. Say that again.
West Side Youth Facility.
Yeah. Thank you.
Commissioner Mason, and then Commissioner Sanders, and then Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I guess this is a question for Lloyd. I know last year we kind of discussed finding a location where we could build a West Side facility so that the Boys and Girls Club could actually move into that facility and provide the staffing and the programming at that facility. So have we solidified anything as of yet? And if not, like, do we know how much time we're looking at? If that's something we can.
We were, we've been under the impression that it was going to be presented to the Board of Education for discussion and approval. What we're looking at is the possibility that their school system needs some land adjacent to the Oak Hill Elementary School. We have land available there. And what we were proposing was was to swap that land or to negotiate with them for a piece of, part or all of a piece of property that they have at the intersection of, that they have over off of the, in the Jack Neely Kirkland Road area. So we were talking to them about the possibility of doing that, and they were putting together their appraisals. We had an appraisal done on ours. There was a mutual need, if you will, between the two parties. So they need some land, we needed some land, and so we thought we would try to see what we could work out. But so the last time I spoke with the school system was early December, and at that point I believe they were still awaiting their appraisal for the property that was over there. So I've not followed up, have not followed up with them again, but because I know they've had a lot going on with the high school and so forth, but we can certainly double back and see if either of the properties that we were looking at, that we might be able to work out some kind of a swap or negotiate the use of the property. So.
And to follow with that, have we looked at, because I know this is, we're really looking at District 3, where now the temporary Boys and Girls Club is actually in District 2. Have we actually done a survey of all of the county-owned county-owned land in District 3 to see what all of our options could be? So have we actually done that as well?
We have. We did look at several properties. I'll have to be honest and say that the Fairview Park area was not considered only because there was an existing park there, but it basically never got into the discussion. But we did look at all the other properties. We had several discussions with the Boys and Girls Club because obviously we wanted to make sure that, you know, when we built the facility that it would also be in a location that helped to further their mission and their goals and serve the community or serve the kids that they really needed to serve. So we had several discussions with them about various pieces of property. Some were not in good locations, some were too remote, some were too small. And so that's why we started looking at the possibility of maybe partnering, so to speak, with the schools to look maybe for some property that they may have that was being underutilized.
And then my last question would be, if those other areas in District 3 you found were not suitable, when we look at the Fairview Park community, would this type of youth facility, would we be able to actually build it there? And I guess, have we looked in what, would it cause any type of issues with us building a youth facility there at the Fairview Park?
I do believe that it could, there's enough ground there that it could be built there and it could be used there. That's a large neighborhood, that whole area, there's a lot of kids there. It's also in fairly close proximity to, there's an elementary school that's right there on Fairview, and then not too far from there is the middle school, and then the high school is just down the road on Jack Neely. So their target population, I would be right in that area. So it looks like it would be, that it would be suitable, and it would fit the bill in terms of size and accessibility and so forth. So, but again, that park had not been considered simply because there was already a park there, but certainly it does make a good site simply for all those reasons I just mentioned. And so.
And then one last question. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I just want to make sure that we get them all out. And this may be a question for Commissioner Sanders. I'm sorry. So when she gets an opportunity to speak, have we done any research on all of the other communities, I guess, within District 3? Would they be okay with coming to Fairview and feel as if it's for the entire district, or would it just be for Fairview if we're putting it just in Fairview? And would the other subdivisions, the other communities, feel as if, by it being in the Fairview community, that it's easily accessible and they're well received coming from other subdivisions or coming from other neighborhoods? Did they say that they feel okay with having it at Fairview? And that was my last question. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to go back to reiterate, as Lloyd stated, Fairview Community Park was not a part of the Boys and Girls Club consideration. Want to put that on the record. And also to go back to Commissioner Edwards' statement, it is not mentioned on the website or any public documents that the Boys and Girls Club is a part of the youth facility. So it was not sold to the citizens that the Boys and Girls Club was a part of the West Side Youth Facility. It just says a West Side Youth Facility. I just want to make sure I put that out there clearly. I also had the architect to actually put together about how the project will actually look. And what the citizens want is not what I want. Because when I was campaigning, this was one of the main things they asked for. Where is our park? Where is our community center? Why we don't have certain things that other districts don't have. And so as soon as I got in office, that was the first thing they asked on the agenda. I have also spoken to various subdivisions and gone to their HOA meetings as well. And that's why I always put on, I have a group on Facebook that consists of District 3. I have some of the HOAs invite their members. Everything that I do, I share. I'm very transparent. Everything is on that page. And so one of the things that I considered as well, and as I also spoke to Ms. Rodriguez when she was on Facebook in the group, the first question that she asked was, will they be a different entrance so they will not affect the community? And that was one of the things I said, yes. That was the first thing I considered because I did not want to inconvenience those residents. I don't know why we would have put a park inside of a subdivision, but I understand why it happened. Because of the recession in 2008, they used a stabilization grant and bought some of the homes in Fairview Community Park to save the area. So they had Fairview Estates to save the area. So they had to put a park in there to receive the grant from the federal government. So that's why that park is actually put there. And so one of the things that I definitely considered was the different areas, and I also talked to Ms. Rodriguez because she gave me some different entrances to the park that it would not inconvenience the residents. So that's one of the main things. So the residents are aware of it. And if you go online and look for yourself as well, they are so in tune with it. When they heard about your pool, they want a pool. They want a pool, which what the Boys and Girls Club cannot offer. And that's the things that the citizens want. And like I said, I want to reiterate, the Boys and Girls Club is an awesome, awesome program. I was not here to dismantle it. We were just utilizing the funds to where they need to be, which is a youth side community program, which has what the youth needed, and they stated what they wanted. So there was a focus group that did talk to teenagers and the youth to benefit them.
Thank you. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, as I remember the part that was put in Fairview Estate, we we had a ribbon cutting, and I remember going out, excuse me, I remember going out, and I said, well, we got a top lot here in Park, or something. And I remember asking, not Lloyd, but the county manager, how much had we spent on it? And if my memory serves me right, I think somebody checked the record, they said $100,000, and I shook my head. I said, I'm sorry, I'm corrected, 2.1 million. But I know on the little top lot, the park, it was about $100,000, so I felt like the money wasn't well spent. But nevertheless, typically, whoever is in office, you know, like for instance, if I ran and didn't win, then they would go with the sitting commissioner. They would, he or she then would assume those projects. And if it hadn't been built, you look for their guidance for that community. And I'm hoping that we as a board of commissioners, that we look for the guidance in District 3 from Commissioner Sanders and what she is looking at and hope preparing for her community. Same, we look for District 1 for his guidance on the stuff that he has in his district, because he represents the people. District 2, Commissioner DeMond, and District 3, Commissioner Sanders, and myself, District 4. So I'm hoping that we can, that the county manager and whomever can work with Commissioner Sanders and her vision that the people have gave to her for their community. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Lloyd, if these funds were basically utilized towards what Commissioner Sanders is proposing, do we have a way where we can still find a location, build a facility where the Boys and Girls Club could still move into that facility and we still be able to partner with them?
Well, the money that's been allocated in the SPLOST funds for the West Side Youth Facility has to build a West Side Youth Facility, regardless of where it is, or whether it's part of another development or further development. It can be standalone, but there does have to be $495,000 expended towards a West Side Youth Facility. Now, that could be coupled with other buildings and things like that, but we would have to identify, there would have to be a project identified as such. And then, if as far as whether or not the Boys and Girls Club would operate it, that's up to the board, because you would still have to approve the memorandum of understanding or memorandum of agreement between us to allow them to, or whoever, to operate the facility if it was determined that the county was not going to operate the facility, if we wanted to use a third party to operate the facility. So as long as you've got a place, a building that you can call the West Side Youth Facility, and that we spent $495,000 on it, I think you're fine.
And I think Commissioner Sanders has a part of her plans, and you can correct me if I'm incorrect, it would basically be kind of like a youth facility. It has a piece to that. Would it be feasible for the Boys and Girls Club to come in and work with us on that particular facility, or not? Or do we want to do something different?
Based on the projects that the Boys and Girls Club offer, it wouldn't be feasible. The programs that they offer, the programs they offer, because the programs that the citizens actually told me that they wanted the parents. I am also a parent in District 3. My daughter is also in the school system. So I'm not talking just as a commissioner. I'm talking as a parent of a teenager who have friends who've also told me certain things as well. And I also volunteer my time. So the programs that are offered, because I know, speaking with Lloyd, because I asked all these questions to Lloyd and Megan in the beginning. I researched it, I asked questions, and I was told if they are in that facility, we have no control at all We have, once you give them the $495,000 of the taxpayers' dollars, we have no control on what we can do for our kids. It all falls on them. So that was the whole issue, to where when he even came to me and asked me about a partnership, I asked that question in detail. I said, okay, if there's a partnership, what can the county do and what can the county cannot do? We can't do nothing, because it's given all to them in a facility that we're building for the community. So that was the whole issue with the partnership, because we would have no say-so in it at all. Well, the citizens, not I, the citizens would have no say-so.
So we will basically be restricted and not be able to add the additional programming that you stated.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any more questions? Commissioner Calvin.
Thanks, sir. I've been trying to listen as best I can to everything. One thing about building a building and leasing it over to somebody, you also reduce your liability for the programs and stuff. So if there's some sort of egregious act over there, it's on them, not on the county. We might be liable for the property and casualty and things like that, but we won't be liable for their actions on things like that. So there's a value there. Second of all, and I'm going from memory, and that's not as good as it used to be, but it seems to me that this was Judge Johnson's had a vision for a Boys and Girls Club on the west side of the county, and I just don't want to do anything. I think we need to continue on with the Boys and Girls Club as it's structured right now, because I don't want to do anything that is a disservice to his legacy. He was a friend of mine, and he made a lot of commitment and contribution to this community. And then third, I'd like to say that there's been a lot of work already put into it. I think it was the first year we were on the board in 2017 when we were exposed to the Boys and Girls Club. The people out of Atlanta came down and talked about the programs and things like that. So, again, there's a lot of work put into it. Just a lot of reasons to continue as it is. And that's just my comment. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Sanders.
And my last point, that also, based on ACCG, which makes it a conflict of interest with the code of conduct, my predecessor sits on the board of the Boys and Girls Club, which she was on the board, and she announced on 12/20/29 that she's on the board now. So that also goes against our Code of Ethics, Article 2, Section 2103.
Thank you. So, So I got to ask you, the question is, what's the acts tonight, Commissioner?
Because I make a motion that we consider the $495,000 splash dollars go towards the youth outreach center that's proposed to happen in Fairview Estates, Fairview Community Park.
You want a second? We got to get a motion on. You going to second? Okay. It's been motioned by Commissioner Sanders and second by Commissioner Henderson. Discussion. Commissioner Mason.
Yes, I was going to say, thank you, Mr. Chair. I know Commissioner Sanders has said that if we built this facility at Fairview, the citizens in District 3 are okay with that. They're fine with this location. But we can't bring in any additional programming. Would it be possible to maybe table this and then have a discussion with them to see if they are able to bring in those additional programming? Like if the board of directors say that they're willing to do that, would that be a compromise for this board? And I'm just putting that out there. I'm just asking if we would table it and then sit down and have a conversation with the board of directors of the Boys and Girls Club to see if they are willing and open to add those additional programs. that we are requesting as the board.
Are
And I
you-
don't know if that's possible or not.
Are you making that a substitute motion?
I'm actually just asking the question. I'm not actually making it a motion.
That's up to Commissioner Sanders. Is that something? Well, we're still in discussion mode.
Right.
Yeah, he just proposed a question. So if you don't, I mean, she ain't got to respond to it, but it's a question that he asked. You don't have.
Well, based on the research, we can't. I believe me, you know our research, you know me. We can't. And I also asked those questions to the parties that be on this board, and they said no.
So, any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
Mr. Chairman, you're going to have to explain to me what the motion is.
So, Commissioner Sanders made a motion that we utilize the funds for, for Fairview Community Center. Commissioner Henderson seconded the motion. You want me to, do I need to call?
Utilize the funds for what? I guess that's what I
Not, to build a west side useful, to build a west side use facility.
That is not supported by the Boys Club and Girls Club?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, you need to vote.
No, I'm nay. I'd rather continue as it is.
I seen everybody except you, Commissioner Mason. Well, I mean, you need to vote, though. Yeah. Yeah, it's a second on the floor now. You need to let me know if you support her motion or you don't support the motion. Right now, it's 2-2. You need to. You can if you would like. What?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
is it possible at this juncture to table this? I mean, if we're struggling in our heads with it right now, can we table this and have an opportunity for Commissioner Sanders to discuss with the Atlanta Area Boys Club Director and see exactly, she may have learned something, I don't know, she may be right, I don't know. But would it be appropriate at this juncture to ask to table it?
A motion, a second on the table, we have a tie, so we have a tie-breaking vote with our chair.
Yeah, sir, there's a motion and a second on the floor. One commissioner abstained, it's 2-2. Guys, I'm gonna say this. I am a hey, I grew up in the Boys and Girls Club, so I was hoping that I wouldn't have to vote tonight because I'm definitely going to vote in favor of the Boys and Girls Club. But I think there's still a solution here. Because the fact of the matter is that we're in less than 60 days. We're going to come back and start talking about building a project for District 4, District 3, and District 2. And so I think there's a way that everybody will be happy. I think everybody will get what they're looking for. So with that said, I am going to break the tie as in favor of yes, I'm breaking the tie in opposition to a motion. 3-2. Next, IT. Wow. IT purchasing request approval of server verticalization upgrade. Mr. Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually, I'm going to ask our IS Director, Greg Mann, to step up, if you would, please, and to explain this upgrade that we're doing on our server system.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. Contract you have before you is a result of RFP 21-09 issued in December this past year for the upgrade of our virtual server infrastructure. We had 4 respondents to this RFP. Capital Data Service came back with not only the lowest initial cost, but the lowest 5-year total cost of ownership. This vendor, Capital Data Service, has been a trusted Newton County vendor since 1993 and is responsible for the insistence of the deployment, design, and support for our current infrastructure. I come before you tonight seeking approval of this contract and answering any questions you may have.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, do you have any questions tonight? I'll seek a motion, please. Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion for approval of the server virtualization upgrades contract for Capital Data Construction not to exceed a cost of $131,087.21.
Can I get a second, please? It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? Commissioner Henderson.
Lord, where would this money come from? I mean, where would we take it from?
This is actually being funded out of the Capital Improvements Fund, and we did budget it for this year.
Thank you, sir. Any more discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Cowan?
District 5, aye. District 5 is aye.
Thank you. Passes 5-0. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Next is solid waste resolution R021621. Mr. Kerr.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution to approve a modification of a GFA loan that we have with the with GFA. Let me flip to that page real quick. And actually, the modification is a modification, I believe, on the terms, the payoff terms, and also the amount of the agreement is $2,617,000. And this goes back, I believe, to the spill that we had back in 2016. Kevin Walter is here. I'm going to ask him to come up to address that a little bit, and he can tell you a little bit more about the project.
Chairman and Commissioners,
How you doing,
this
Ted?
is strictly an agreement to extend the completion date for a loan that was from 2017. The purpose of the loan originally was to do several projects at the landfill, including cleaning up contaminated sediment basins, as the county manager referred to, from spills, doing repairs and upgrades to the leachate collection system, installing extraction wells in the landfill, and then installing a final cover system over phase 1 and 2 of MSW Site 2. All those projects have been completed except for the last one, the cover. That was anticipated to be completed by the end of 2020. Because of COVID and because of weather, it's taken longer time. So the contractual completion time was May of 2021. We don't think we'll have all the expenditures made by then. So we're asking GFA to extend the deadline to December 31st. It doesn't change the money, it doesn't change the terms. It's just the deadline for when we can apply for funding. So it's strictly an extension of schedule.
Thank you, sir. Any questions, commissioners? I see Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I guess this is more to Lloyd than anybody. Lloyd, I was thinking that at some point our enterprise fund that we were going to make sure that all the meetings kind of be same as ours. In other words, they be public. And I tried. Maybe I'm not as good as Mr. Lane, and I'm not good as our county attorney. But I couldn't find anything on how the money was being spent. And so I guess, since I'm probably in that lower range of people who don't know much about getting this stuff, so how would the average person find out how the money is being spent, have access to the meetings, what is said at the meeting? And that had been a concern to me for a few years now. And I'm just trying to figure out, when are we going to do it? Or could we place money in the budget so we could get it set up? And not only for the solid waste, for those other enterprise funds that have meetings and that we normally agree to give them money. But yet, to me, and this is me talking, it seemed to be no accountability. I mean, it's for no oversight. Maybe a better word, no oversight by somebody knowing exactly what's being spent. And I think that's something that needs to be done.
Well, we do. Finance Department monitors all expenses to make sure that their expenses are eligible expenses. We do publish monthly the check register, which shows everything that we pay for during the month. And if someone has a question about a particular bill, they would be able to, we can provide information for that. So there is an oversight on that project to make sure that the money that we receive, or the money that's being spent, is being spent correctly. The county does back the loan, and so there's a number of places that you could go to. There's always, if a member of the public wants to know, they can always request an open records or file an open records request for particular documents, that we will be glad to produce those. But there is probably the best way to look at it or to see would be in the monthly check register, which tells you what we're spending every dime on, who the money is going to, and that really covers all departments. If there's a particular, for instance, the scope of work and all that we would be doing, if there's contracted work there, then you'll see, as Kevin mentioned, this was for a number of different things. But for instance, if someone was interested in how much money was spent on the extraction wells, they could request that document. We could go to the contract to see how much it was spent, what the scope of work was for the contract, or they could, and they'd have all that information available to them. And certainly, a phone call to the solid waste, to Kevin Walters as a director there, I'm sure he could talk them through and explain that to them. And there are also, the meetings are open to the public, where typically all of these items are discussed, at the board meetings.
Just I guess one final comment. Why should we have to go to all that? Why not just publish the meeting? I'm pretty sure that whatever amount of money that's being spent on what's being done, that they're going to discuss it. They're going to say it. So why should the general public, our citizen taxpayers, have to get filed for an open record request? And just put a camera up there and put it on Facebook so people know where they can go and get it, and it'll tell them. And then if there's some additional information, and I think they should call you or the chairman and or Ms. Jackie and get the information. I don't think that's hard.
No, and I'm sorry, I guess I misunderstood about why we didn't have it.
Yeah, I don't think what I said was
that Brian has talked a little bit with Kevin about approaching the Solid Waste Authority about putting all of their meetings and all on Facebook or YouTube to stream all of them. And I think it's just an item that has to be should be discussed with them and let them know about it before we start doing it. But other than that, I mean, yeah, we can do that. I mean, there's no problem doing that.
And you're right. And so should we do it on the water and sewer or whatever appropriations or whatever fund that we have, whether where they spend our money. And I think the Water and Sewer Authority, this department, I think we're funding it. and I think that we shouldn't make it hard for somebody to maybe find out what's going on. Maybe even ask questions if they wish to, because that's what it's all about, transparency. And I think that we're getting to the time now, especially with technology, anybody who receives money should be, maybe have to publish their meetings. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Sanders.
Just quickly, just to echo, and this was before he even stated that I was going to ask you that question, because I've been asking, we've been getting the notifications of the meeting, and I've been asking when are they going to have Zoom, because my constituents are asking, I can't come in. You have people who are high risk. They want to be involved with the county. They want to see what's happening with the funds. They want to see what's going on, but for the past 2 meetings, I've been asking, are you guys going to have a public meeting? Are you going to do it on Zoom? So these people who don't want to come in are scared to come in because of COVID. We are in a pandemic, to showcase it, and that has not been answered. So what is the actual policy, and maybe I can ask that to Megan, on boards actually showcasing the meetings to the public? Is there a reason why some don't do it?
Money. Some do it. Some that have the funds to set up that. But you could film every county meeting if you had something more beyond that. Exactly.
Use a regular iPhone to record a meeting.
It's an open meeting, so we can put it up there.
So yeah, if we can do that for the citizens, that would be great, because they've been asking me, and they keep asking, and I've asked for the past 2. I know I'm new on the board. You've only had 2 since I've been here, but I've been asking, and I haven't gotten in results, because they want to participate. They want to see what's going on, but they're afraid to come in the facility. So hopefully we can go about doing that. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Sanders, I would say that I have seen a real success with some counties and cities around the state where they continue the Zoom. You can come in person, but there's a Zoom to log on to, so that if you are at risk, and it's pretty easy to set that up.
Commissioner Henderson.
One thing that I'm concerned about Zoom, I remember last meeting that we had Zoom when they used the N word as many times they could think of it. Even fortunately for me, I didn't have a computer, and they were putting all kind of lewd stuff on it, and that was kind of bad.
We definitely, guys, I do want to say that we definitely got to find a way, if we do move to Zoom. That's one of the reasons why we back inside of it. I cannot let, what happened, we let that, honestly, I let it went on way too long. And I would definitely tell you that it was very, very, very inappropriate, to the language that people, I ain't gonna say they, people were, utilizing. I just stop it right there, but we got to make sure we can manage that. Any more discussion, guys? I need a motion, please. I'm sorry, go ahead, Commissioner.
Ask a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
This is a loan at the Solid Waste Authority, is that correct?
Yeah, it's an extension of the loan.
Okay, which loan was it? The loan we bought the land from her?
No, it was the loan to clean up the cell.
It's a 2016
Okay.
county contract for $2,617,000 from GFA to fund remediation of contaminated sediment repairs for the leachate system and installation of a cover system to close phases 1 and 2 of the landfill. The project is underway.
I got you.
You got it? You understand where I'm going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know where you're going. Just tell me what the modifications were.
It is only to
Was
the
it-
deadline. We had anticipated for getting the project completed December 2020. Like Kevin Walters is bringing forth today, we've got project completion to December 2021.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm good.
Thank you. Can I get a motion, please? Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Make a motion, we approve Resolution R021621. Resolution by the Board of Commissioners of Newton County, Georgia to approve modification of a loan agreement and promissory note with the Georgia Environmental Finance Authority, loan project number GF2016013.
Can I get a second, please?
I'll second it.
All right, it's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Cowan. Any more discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Cowan, what's your vote?
Hey, yes.
Yes. Passes 5-0.
All right, whatever.
Thank you, sir. Next is item 14, Resolution R021612AA. Is that Attorney Martin?
Folks, before you tonight, this is the same resolution that you had at your last meeting. It's a resolution authorizing and approving the execution, delivery, and performance of an installment sale agreement related to the Newton County Public Facilities Authority Revenue Bond for the fire station and equipment, Series 2021. This is the same resolution verbatim that you had last time. I've only changed the date.
Seek a motion, please. Can I get a second? Thank you. It's been motioned by Commissioner Henderson and second by Commissioner Edwards. Any discussion? Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I think a while back, I don't recall how many months, how long has it been since we talked about this fire station? But make a long story short then, I said then that I would not change on it. I said that I was going to support it. And even though I got a call at my home kind of stating otherwise, they would tell me what I had said. But make a long story short and make this very simple. I'm a man of my word. I won't change on you.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Commissioner, thank you. It passes 5-0, thanks. Next is the alcohol license, first reading. Peach Mark 2534 LLC, DBA Bayless Inc. 2536, Highway 801 South, Covington, GA 30016. Owner Bailey's 76, Sanaa Galani, District 2. First reading. 23, Yeah, this is a good one, and I'm gonna call on our county attorney and let her have a good chance at this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the first reading of the alcohol license for Wadwania USA LLC, doing business as Salem Food Mart at 3633 Salem Road, Covington, Georgia, 30016. The owner being Sahil Wadwania. Sorry. I apologize to Mr. Sahil.
I can't wait till the next meeting to hear Commissioner Mason go at that. Next on the agenda is citizen comments. This opportunity we let citizens come up and make comments in the agenda topic. You may comment this time. You got 3 minutes to do so. Please state your name, your address for the record, please.
Yes, Barbara Morgan, 2158 East Street, Covington. I want to thank you tonight for the vote to support the dream of Forrest Johnson. For a West Side Youth Facility, he dreamed of a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club, nationally known, traditionally accepted and recognized programming. It was his dream, and let there be no move to undo his legacy.
Thank you. Anyone else? Going once, going twice, gone. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Henderson. Well, I'm sorry. Commissioner Cowan.
So what?
I'm sorry.
I'm just.
No comment. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, and thank you, Ms. Morgan, for just when you mentioned Judge Johnson's name, that I remember that we grew up in the same community. In fact, if you would talk, I think somebody talked about a little bit about Sand Hill. Well, they lived a little bit above me. I was older, but Mr. Horace Johnson, he was my math teacher. So a little bit of math that I know it was because of his family. And Miss Lottish, she was our like 4-H teacher, and I know them all very well. But me, I didn't have a father in my house. I was mostly raised by my grandmother, who nobody else probably wanted me, so I was kind of with her. But the point I'm trying to make is that if it hadn't been for people like Mr. Johnson, Mr. John B. Black, Schiff, Coach Chester, Coach Wright, then I don't know where, I wouldn't be up here. I'd probably be in some institution. So when Judge Johnson was a lawyer, I'm just saying this real quick, was a lawyer, we were asked by the county attorney to sign my signature as district commissioner so that he could become one of the first judges, Afro-American judges in Newton County. And I honorably signed on it. So I know them real well. I know this family. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Sanders.
Just want to make a statement. Thank you, Ms. Morgan, for that. I want to put out there, this was not an issue to dismantle the Boys and Girls Club, to dismantle Judge Johnson's legacy. There was no mention of that. I don't know how or why this was even told to the citizens or how this information got out. The only conversation I really had with this was with our county manager. So I have no idea where that came from. It was because we were trying to find funds for a community center that the community wanted. And because those funds were allocated and there to be able to do that, that's what that was about. And we know that the Boys and Girls Club has so many sponsors across the world, being a nationally organized nonprofit organization with funding that we as a county can't even touch. So it was not anything to dismantle the Boys and Girls Club, Judge Johnson's legacy, or any of that. It was to build within our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to make a brief announcement. I have actually partnered with our economic development team, and I'm going to be holding a retail and community summit on February the 24th at 11 a.m. It'll be for all brokers, business owners, future entrepreneurs. We're going to have a round table. This will all be virtual. So we're going to be having a roundtable for brokers, business owners, future entrepreneurs, and to come and sit. We have a gentleman by the name of Mr. Charles Parker, which is our retail coach. He has done a retail study for District 2. And so we're going to invite them at 11 a.m. And then also at 2:00 p.m. on February the 24th, Mr. Parker and I will actually allow any of our leaders to come out, our Board of Commissioners, if they want to call in at 2:00 p.m. or join us at 2:00 p.m. To kind of see how the retail survey went, how we can also do the same thing in our other remaining districts. And then at 7:00 p.m., I'm going to be doing another one of my community conversations. I know for the last year, if you guys remember, I did several of my community conversations, my economic exchanges. So I'm going to be doing another one of those at 7:00 p.m. via Facebook Live. And it'll be with Mr. Parker, which is our retail coach. It'll be with Sarah Hall, which is our VP of our economic development, and then Ms. Debbie Harper, which is our president of our Chamber of Commerce. We're going to come together and have a live Facebook event, basically really talking about the retail and the community needs or what the community wants from a retail perspective. So we're going to have that where they can ask questions. We'll be able to answer any questions that they may have. So we are very excited about this retail and community summit. I do want to encourage my fellow commissioners to please, if you can and are available, to log in at 2:00 p.m. We are going to be kind of really talking about how we as commissioners can really start looking at retail in our individual districts. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be brief. First of all, I know I speak for Commissioner Sanders when I say thank you guys for passage of item number 14. We both she had a need and I had a need, and Ronnie had a need as well. Commissioner of District 5 had a need as well, and you guys did that for us. Thank you so much. I attended Judge Johnson's the dedication of the Judicial Center a couple of weeks ago, and what a man! When I leave here, I don't know if I just wish I could get a tenth of what the love and respect that man has when I'm done here. It was a wonderful tribute to him and his family. It was great to see. And the last thing I got is I want to ask my fellow commissioners to put the pressure on our public for our trashy roads. They're getting better, but I believe the way to stop a lot of the trash on our roads is to put the pressure on people and make it so it's just shameful. I mean, I think it is shameful, but there are so many people, and I ride down. I forget the name of the road. It's down there on the Boy Scout reservation, and it's just unbelievable. People drive through commercially, and it's not because the hang tags are $150. These are commercial vehicles pulling down that road and dumping shingles, dumping siding, dumping all types of construction debris. And I believe as commissioners, I'm going to start using social media. And I'm not going to be, I won't be bullied by the people who believe that it's our fault. To dump something on the side of the road is inexcusable. So whether it be commercial or household garbage, and I'm going to turn up the heat, and I'm going to ask you guys to do the same thing in your own way, if you can, if you don't mind. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to make brief comments, and then I'm going to let Brian come up and talk about quickly about our movie night. First, I want to say to the board, Public Facilities Authority, I think you guys did the right thing tonight. I think you decided to move forward with putting a plan in place. I think y'all did the right thing tonight. That's one of my, that would have been one of my suggestions if I would have been sitting here in this seat. So I commend you guys on working together, going to the drawing table, the drawing board, sitting down at the table, and putting your heads together and see how you can make it actually come to fruition. I think there's an opportunity for everybody to get what they wanted. And so once you put a plan in place, I think everybody will be happy. With that being said, so thank you guys for working together doing that. Brian, if you would come up and just, you want to do it there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll do it here. Yeah, first of all, thank you for letting me speak. As you know, our bicentennial year is upon us. All year we're going to be celebrating 200 years since Newton County's been chartered. We haven't been able to do as many events quite yet that we want to due to the pandemic. But we have one coming up that we're all very excited about. As you know, filming is a big thing in Newton County. I believe the Chamber of Commerce has it trademarked, the Hollywood of the South. And we're going to celebrate that. Next Saturday, the 27th at 7 p.m., we're having our first drive-in movie, Selma Under the Stars. We're going to be showing Selma, which was filmed right here in Newton County. As you go, I'm sure everybody knows, as you go downstairs, it's Hotel Albert. Well, this isn't Hotel Albert. That was a movie set from when they were here. I don't want to say the date because I don't remember, but a couple years ago. So next Saturday, February 27th, starting at 7 p.m., we're going to be showing a drive movie at Legion Field. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to give a popcorn, make a good night of it. We are asking people to register. It's free, but register. There's an Eventbrite page set up. You can find, I don't remember off the top of my head, but you can go on our website. You can go on our Facebook Bicentennial page. We have a Facebook page there as well, Newton Bicentennial on Facebook, Newton Bicentennial on Instagram, Twitter, a couple other. But yeah, if you go on our website, social media, Newton Bicentennial social media, you can register. All the constituents can register. Please come. I think we're going to have around 150, 125 cars at Legion Field. We already have really good turnout on the Eventbrite page, so we're excited.
And they are able to sit in yard lawn chairs.
You can sit in lawn chairs. You can sit in your cars.
Social distancing.
Yeah, social distancing, so it'll be safe. You watch a movie. Enjoy, the time to celebrate our bicentennial. Also to celebrate our present, as our filming has been a big calling card. As you see everybody on the square looking for vampires and all kinds of other things. So yeah, please join us. Please tell your constituents to join us. Send them to our Facebook. Send them to our website. Send them to our Instagram. All that stuff.
Thank you. And guys, I got one last request, if I can. I'm asking that each commissioner please come. Please come, and it's our big bicentennial, so if you can, please come. Please bring your family if you want, but please show up. It'll be something great for the constituents to see, the community to see all of us there. Even if we are just waving with a mask on, it would be great. And guys, I know I've seen it a couple of you already have shared it on your Facebook, social media. Please, if you haven't, do it again. Do it, and the ones that have, please do it again. We want to make sure we get the word out in the community. If I don't have anything else, I seek a motion that we adjourn. All in favor? It passed 5. You in favor, Ronnie? Mr. Cowell, thank you. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate you, sir. Have a good evening.